starting the season in South Korea. And we've got it all covered for you here on the program today. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby coming to you from the Odyssey Palace Studios, but we have a special guest on the show today. Scrabe?
Yes.
Guest on the show is actually a co-host of the show.
He's not really a guest.
Tony Gwynn Jr. is going to join us in an hour's time.
Or attempt to.
Yeah.
I think it's going to work, though.
You think it's going to work?
I do.
All right, we're hoping that it all works and we get Tony on from South Korea about an hour from right now. It's like 6 in the morning there right now.
Yes.
So he's still catching up on beauty sleep.
Yeah, I mean, the Padres had a big win yesterday, so.
Yeah, I heard about that. Ha-Seong Kim hit a couple of home runs.
Yeah.
And they won. I think they won their other game 1-0.
They did, which was a defensive struggle.
A defensive struggle.
Yeah.
Good goaltending by the Padres in that game.
And I think they scored on a wild pitch in the first inning.
Pass ball, maybe.
Pass ball, yeah.
Something like that. I know Jackson Merrill had a couple of hits in that game. I saw some highlights the other night. Anyway, the Padres and the Dodgers, it is Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. Scraby and I are going to be there.
That's right.
Watch party. Make sure you're there. 7 Mile Casino. Brought to you by our friends at Soapy Joe's.
Yes.
Ben and Woods are going to host, but Scraby and I, you and I are just be slumming, I guess.
No, thankfully they're hosting because I don't know what kind of use I'll be to anyone at 3 a.m.
You'll be of excellent use.
Are you kidding me, Chris? I am going to do Scraby show until 7. Probably leave here at 8. Go home. Get home by like 9.
Give me a break.
Go
How
to
much sleep do you need?
How much? I am a regimented human being. I need my 8, Chris.
The old line, sleep when you're dead.
I've heard that many times, and you know what I say to that? No.
You say no.
Every
you say
time.
Sleep while I'm alive.
I had a friend that was like, that was their life mantra. Sleep when you're dead. I'm like, no, I'm really tired. I'd rather be awake for my life.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody at 3 a.m. You gotta do it. I mean, listen to this week. You work today. Okay. You all work tomorrow.
Yep.
Wednesday, you join us down at 7 Mile Casino. And then you call in sick after the Padre game because you're tired. Thursday, you watch the second Dodger Padre game.
Yes.
You call in sick again.
Oh, wow.
And then Friday,
Uh-oh.
because the Aztecs are playing at 10:45 in the morning, you call in sick again. It's the perfect week to use up sick days, everybody.
So it's a 2-day work week.
2-day work week.
All
Work
right.
today and tomorrow. And then as you get a little later in the day tomorrow, the sniffles, a couple of coughs, and you're on your way to a 3-day vacation. Perfect.
I like it.
I love it.
I'll sign your slip, too, if you need me to.
Sure. Scraby will take care of you. But, Aztecs play a Friday morning. Of course, the NCAA tournament start. Thursday is going to be a tough day for all of us sports fanatics because we're going to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to watch the Padre game till 6. We're going to come home from wherever we watch the game or whatever, grab some breakfast, and then the NCAA tournament will start like at 9 a.m. on Thursday morning. First day of the tournament. I know the Aztecs don't play the first day, but that's the day everybody's locked in. You got a fresh back bracket. You know, you haven't lost a game yet.
I got to say,
you're already ready to go.
I have never met anyone as excited about brackets.
Love
as
the brackets.
Chris. He is the most. He loves this.
Love the bracket.
When he comes on saying it's the day after Christmas morning, he's not joking, everyone.
No, it's
How long have you been staring at your bracket? Since you got
since what time was it out? 4 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah.
So how many ever hours that is? I've been looking at the bracket and look, I mean, it only looks good for about 2.5 days. Because then Thursday, like I said, the games start and you start making X marks and scratching out games and your final 4 teams all get eliminated before the weekend.
Yeah, well, the bracket's busted after the first game.
And then it's a disaster. So, it looks good for the 2 or 3 days right now. I will say that the Aztecs got a sensational draw. They really did. Alabama, Birmingham. Look, I can overlook them. The Aztecs can't. The players, the coaches, all that, they can't overlook them. But Alabama, Birmingham is one of the worst teams in the tournament. And if you don't believe me, go to the net rankings or the other one, the Ken Palm rankings, something like that.
Which is what Rick Pitino loves, Ken Palm.
He doesn't like that anymore.
He doesn't like net.
He doesn't like net because that's what kept his team out of there. You know what, Rick? No slime slimy people invited to this year's tournament. Sorry, you're just gonna have to sit on the sidelines. Rick Pitino, quite the guy.
I didn't know where you're going.
File him under P in my book, Rick Pitino. Special human being. But no, the Alabama Birmingham ranks 85 spots lower than the Aztecs in the net rankings. Something like 80, something like, I don't know. Ziegler had it in the story today. But I mean, so far below the Aztecs, they're not even in the, according to the, ranking set, et cetera, they're not even in the same ballpark as the Aztecs. UAB, you look at who all of the other 12 seeds are, right? Because that's who the Aztecs are a 5, just like they were last year.
Yeah.
You could have drawn Grand Canyon, which is a 12.
Oh, you don't want to draw them.
You don't want to draw them. They beat you this year.
Already picked them to win their game.
They're tough. Grand Canyon. One of the other 12s, McNeese, which is 30-3.
Ooh.
So you don't really want to draw them. And the other 12 seed is James Madison. They're 31-3.
Yeah, you don't want to draw them either.
So of the 12 seeds, you easily got the worst 12 seed. And apparently UAB is ranked so low in the net rankings that they're even ranked lower than all of the 13 seeds.
Wow.
Which means Yale, Charleston, Samford, and I'm going to see the other 13, Vermont. All of those teams are actually better than UAB is, according to the metrics.
The
Aztecs, I think, got a very fortunate first round draw. Now, beyond that, I don't know. Auburn is going to be very tough if they have to play them in the second round. Remember, last year the Aztecs had everything open up beautifully. Virginia was waiting for them as the number 4 seed last year. Only Virginia never got there because they blew the game to Furman.
Yep.
And that put the Aztecs in a really good spot to reach the Sweet 16. But if Auburn is waiting, and again, these are metrics and analytics, and of course, you and I don't know anything about analytics, according to some of the listeners.
Well, they're right.
No, we're not. No, they're not right. We know a lot of stuff. We don't know everything.
Yeah, I know that.
We don't know everything, and we don't claim to know everything, but people get mad when we don't seem to know everything.
Expected base hits on bunts that happened in April is the new stat.
I'm a little weak on.
BAPIP is a good stat.
I'm a little weak on BAPIP.
Okay.
But no, Auburn is ranked. They're in offensive and defensive efficiency. They're the top, I think, 10 or 20, something like that, in both offense and defense efficiency. And there's only 7 other teams in the tournament that can say that. And the likes of, UConn, Purdue, Houston, those kind of teams are all that highly ranked in those efficiency. So Auburn is awfully good, and that could be a very difficult draw in number 2 in round 2. But as I tweeted out yesterday, Scraby, we already conquered Alabama last year.
Okay.
This year, we're going after Alabama, Birmingham, and Auburn. We are going to be hated in the state of Auburn
like that
if we reach the Sweet 16.
That is true.
We will have wiped out the entire state of Alabama if we can reach the Sweet 16.
That is very true.
Yes. So,
I didn't think about that.
Yes, it's all anti-Alabama here in San Diego for the Aztecs. Now, the Aztecs, for their part, okay, we can talk about, UAB not being very good, this, that, and the other. And, Brian Dutcher and everybody's going to tell you how great they are. They're really good on rebounding. They miss a lot of shots, but they rebound. They don't play any defense, but that may not matter. Why? Because the Aztecs can't shoot. So UAB doesn't have to play defense. The Aztecs can't shoot. The other problem for the Aztecs is that they fall behind by 15 points every game.
That is true.
If you want to know the best bet that you can make in the NCAA tournament this weekend, and we're not into the Daily Gambit yet, but I'm going to give you a little Daily Gambit tidbit.
Oh.
You can bet often. You can find this bet in Vegas, and I know you can bet which team is first to score 10 points.
Oh.
You can bet that.
Bet against the Aztecs.
Absolutely. Bet UAB.
Every
Bet
time.
Anybody. The Aztecs are never first to 10 points. The Aztecs are trailing at the first TV timeout every game.
Every game. And then they make a furious comeback, and it's
automatic.
Dramatic.
And they were down 10 in the UNLV game. They were down 17 in the Utah State game, and they were down 14 to New Mexico. And you can only come back so often. I mean, it takes a lot of energy to come from behind.
Totally.
And when you get there, a lot of times you run out of steam. And I think the Aztecs got that 4-point lead late in the second half against New Mexico. I think they ended up missing 14 of the last 15 shots, Greg.
Well, they made a lot of free throws.
They made a lot of free throws, but they couldn't make a field goal.
No.
They couldn't make a field goal. And so
every time I kept paying attention to the announcers, they would be like, San Diego State's on a 4-shot cold streak or something.
Cold streak.
Yeah, it was always like that.
Oh, they were on a cold streak the entire game. And so, look, but here's the interesting thing about this. Quietly, all right, without anybody telling anybody, the hierarchy at San Diego State, I'm talking like school presidents, people like that.
Okay.
That Aztec loss to New Mexico made San Diego State a whole bunch of money.
Why?
Because New Mexico would not have been in the NCAA tournament had they lost.
Oh, so they get into the tournament. And
they get into the tournament, and all of the money that New Mexico now makes is split up amongst all the Mountain West Conference schools. So whatever New Mexico does in this tournament is gravy. That's extra money that goes into the pockets of San Diego State and other teams in the Mountain West that would not have been there. Because it's pretty clear by the bracket that was released yesterday that New Mexico was not going to make it had they lost to the Aztecs.
See, which is so
that was a money-making loss by the Aztecs.
Well, the Aztecs carried all of the Mountain West teams all the way to the championship, so they made
they made everybody a ton of money last year.
But they have, 6 teams this year?
There's 6 teams in there this year.
2 of them were in the last or the first 4.
Yeah, 2 of them are playing in the play-in games, Colorado State and Boise State. Nevada's a 10. New Mexico's an 11. And then the only other team that's higher than that is Utah State, and they're an 8.
Wow.
The Aztecs are a 5. Here's the thing. And this is what I'm really happy about with the NCAA selection committee this year. It seems to me they put the most weight on one thing, and that is your non-conference schedule. If you played a bunch of tough games before conference, you were rewarded for it. And the Aztecs are the only team in the Mountain West that played a really difficult non-conference schedule. That's why they were rewarded with a 5 seed despite finishing in 5th place. The other team,
I think I heard Brian Dutcher actually saying that.
Yeah,
this is why we take on the teams that we do.
There's no question. You look at the one big surprise, or there's a lot of surprises, but one of the bigger surprises was Iowa State not getting a 1 seed, and then not only getting a 2, but they were like the lowest rated number 2. The reason for that is because Iowa State's non-conference schedule was horrible. They didn't play anybody. All of their wins were in the conference. So the tournament committee docked them. The current tournament committee message to all teams in college basketball is you better play some good teams in the non-conference, and that's good for the sport.
Yes.
So cupcakes are not going to get you into the NCAA tournament.
They're delicious, though.
They are delicious. All right.
But cupcakes aren't. You're right.
That's what the message was. It was a clear message. So anyway, look, I'm happy the Aztecs are in. Look, based on what they did last year, and then they lost 5 star players from that team last year. 5.
Yes, they did.
And they end up with the exact same seed this year. That's pretty impressive.
I think that's coaching right there.
That's pretty impressive. So well done by the Aztecs. We'll talk plenty about their game against UAB, plenty about the tournament. We'll take a look at the brackets. We'll do all of that. But a lot of Padre talk when we come back. Is one of our best former friends on his way back to town?
Uh-oh.
We will answer that. The latest. When Gwynn and Chris gets rolling, don't forget, Tony Gwynn Jr. joins us live from South Korea. God willing.
Yes, hopefully.
At the top of the hour.
Technology.
Yeah,
limiting.
It's all up to technology,
really
Scrape.
is.
I'm a little worried, but we're going to all check in together with that. Show's underway. Happy to have you with us. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan.
Kim hits it in the air to deep left center field. Moon is going back. He will look up. This one gonna go! Ha-Sung Kim! Welcome back to Go Chuck Skydome. A 2-run homer here in the second, and the Padres jump in front.
What was it called? Name of the edifice?
Oh,
Go Suck
no,
Dome?
No, oh my gosh. No.
I thought that's what he said.
Go Chuck.
Go Chuck. Go Chuck Dome?
Let's hear it again.
Let's hear it again.
I got to turn off the music. Hold on.
Turn the music
All right,
off. I want to
here
hear
we
the name of the where we're playing.
I believe it's Go Chuck.
Go
Ha-Sung Kim! Welcome back to Go Chuck Skydome.
It is Go Chuck.
Skydome.
Skydome.
It's a Skydome.
It looks like a pretty fun stadium.
Is it pretty big? Does it look?
It looks
looks
big.
large.
Yeah, I mean,
Large enough to be called the Skydome.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it
It's
has
not
the
rinky-dink?
Skydome like roof to it.
All right.
So Bob Scanlon, by the
Go
way,
Chuck Skydome.
if you're not paying attention to his Twitter, last night he took a picture
Yeah.
and put it up of him waiting in the shrimp line because the shrimp sold out the night before, and Bob Scanlon wasn't having it. He wanted the shrimp from the shrimp line, so he took a picture.
All right.
He's doing a great job of making me feel like I'm missing out.
Hey Scan.
Hey Scan.
Add Hey Scan.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Padres. Do they have any more exhibition games, or that's
That's it.
They played 2. They won them both.
Yep.
Now they get ready. Take on the Dodgers Wednesday morning, 3:05, I believe, in the morning.
It better hit that 05.
First pitch at 3:05. Will Tommy Pham be in left field? Oh my goodness.
No, Jerks and Profar will be.
Jerks and Profar probably will be, even if they acquire Tommy Pham. I can't imagine he'd be able to get to Korea and be awake in time. That is the scuttlebutt that our old friend Tommy Pham is coming back. Bob Nightingale has been widely reporting it in USA Today. And you know I love Bob Nightingale. Let's hope he's not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, we could use Tommy Pham. Whether you like him or don't like him, and here's why you don't like him. Because in 5 years with St. Louis, Tommy Pham hit 271 and had an 828 OPS. In 2 years with Tampa Bay, he hit 287 and had an 870 OPS. But in 2 years with the Padres, hit 226 with a 705 OPS. He was 165 points lower in San Diego than he was with St. Louis and Tampa Bay. Now, he bounced back nicely for Arizona in just a half of a season last year.
I mean, he was pretty good with the Mets, too. That's what got him to Arizona.
True. Played a little all right with the Mets. But the thing with Arizona where he really, came alive was in the postseason last year. I mean, don't forget, Arizona was in the World Series. And guess who was batting not leadoff, not 7th, not 8th? Guess who was batting 3rd?
Tommy Pham?
Tommy Pham. He was batting 3rd in their order last year in the postseason. He had 3 home runs in the postseason. He hit 1 against the Dodgers, 1 against the Phillies, and 1 against the Rangers. That's almost more than he hit when he was here, or so it seems.
Yeah, so it seems.
Yeah. Anyway, Tommy Pham was real good last year, but here's why you should want him. Because look, Jerks and Profar, if you'd rather have him in left field, fine. But when Manny goes back to third base, you're going to need a DH. You're going to need somebody that can hit. DHs, and I don't know that Tommy Pham is this guy, but DHs, we've talked about this, Gravy. They hit 35 home runs and drive in a hun.
What?
A hundo.
Okay.
So you got to have somebody in that position who's got some smack. Right now, the Padres DH options, once Manny returns to third base, are Jose Azocar, Graham Pauley, Tyler Wade, and Kyle Higashioka.
Those aren't good options.
They're okay options. They're not okay to fill what you need to be filled, right? Those guys are not going to hit 35 and drive in a hundo. So, Tommy Pham is going to help you get to where you need to go as long as Tommy Pham is the Tommy Pham he was everywhere but here. So
I think
you
I
should
know
be
why.
happy with this if it does come to pass. It has not yet.
I think, and by the way, Tommy Pham and Mike Schilt crossed paths for half a season, and I think he was traded to the Rays. But
okay,
I think why people, because I put up a "What do we think about this?" tweet over the weekend, and it got responses
mixed reviews,
right down the middle,
mixed reviews,
and mainly it's because of his attitude that people don't like him. Also, if I hear about him getting, the reason you don't like him is because he got stabbed outside of a strip club. I don't understand why people hold that against him.
I don't see that being a reason to dislike the guy. If you dislike every athlete who's ever stepped into or outside of a strip club, you probably don't like any of them.
Yeah.
So, that was a really unfortunate incident. That as far as I can tell, he, other than being there, had very little to do with. He was there,
yeah,
and some guy attacked him.
And believe me, I went back to the police reports and stuff to try to figure out if I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like it's his fault. But I'll move on from that. But that's something that's going to follow him around in San Diego forever.
I know.
And like, I don't think his attitude towards his teammates is bad, which is his attitude towards fans can be. I don't like that. I don't like when you tell fans, "I'm going to fight you in the parking lot."
That's probably not the best.
You should.
But you know what?
Those
fans who drew that out of him, should be a bit ashamed of their behavior as well. If he had to do it all again, would probably react a little better. But this is a guy that hit 17 home runs 2 years ago, 16 last year, stole 14 bases 2 years ago, 22 last year. He's a good player. He has always been a good player, except for 2020 and 2021. Can I tell you?
But you know what, Chris?
But I think it would be an improvement.
But you know what? He left the Super Bowl early, so he cannot come to the Padres.
What do you mean he left the Super Bowl early?
This year, you didn't see this?
I didn't see that.
Oh, he was at the Super Bowl. He said he was so annoyed by the people around him that he just went home at halftime.
All right,
and missed all the traffic.
All right, Tommy has an attitude.
I don't think that's a secret.
You know where he's from?
Vegas.
Las Vegas. Yeah. So you just want to get home. Have a little dinner.
Have a little dinner, watch the rest of the Super Bowl
Tommy
on his
Pham.
TV.
He's a piece of work, but
his teammates seem to like him.
Everybody seems to like him. He's a good teammate. Whether you like him sitting down the left field foul line or not is pretty much immaterial.
I'd rather them pay him the $5 to $7 million that he's rumored to be making than the $15 million that JD Martinez is rumored to be asking.
I would love to get JD Martinez. He's not affordable.
But he cannot play the outfield. He can't play any other position on the field except for DH. We did that last year. His name was Nelson Cruz.
And
Matt Carpenter.
No, I disagree with that. JD Martinez is a lot better than Nelson Cruz. JD Martinez, he drove in over a hundo. He did that. Nelson Cruz drove in about 10. That's not a good comparison. I'm sorry to say.
Wait,
it's just not.
Wait,
what can I tell you?
Sorry, say that one more time.
JD Martinez drove in over 100 runs. Nelson Cruz drove in about 15.
But
that's not a comparison.
On a team with 4 outfielders, you're willing to bring in a guy who can't play the outfield? I don't think
it's not
that
even
makes
worth
sense.
discussing. JD Martinez is not affordable. Forget it.
Okay.
He's not coming here. We can't afford him.
We got a lot of people. Okay, for Tommy Pham, he attracts drama, the strip club, Jock Peterson, the racial interaction with the fan last year here. I've heard that, and I've heard, so I'm not saying it came from me, but I've heard from listeners who have DM'd me saying that those fans were out of line, and those fans were calling his name every single time he went anywhere.
Let me ask you something. Who do you believe, a player or stupid fans?
Well,
all right, I'm kind of leading you to an answer there, but we know how most fans behave out there. Come on.
I've been there for it.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I've been on the field where there's a guy who's like, "Tommy, you suck."
Yeah, I know,
and that's fine. He's a player, but you can't hold that stuff against him.
It gets a little frustrating when your own fans are chanting that.
And the reason that I have to defend him is frustrating me, and it's because everybody is saying that he has all these problems when he does have problems. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I don't think it will hurt the team.
Put me down for accepting Tommy Pham on this ball club, if that is indeed what they do.
Okay.
But like I said, it hasn't happened yet.
No,
so we'll
it
keep an eye
hasn't.
on that. Blake Snell is still available as well.
He wants 2 years and $66 million with an
The
opt-out
Astros
after
apparently said,
one.
Yeah. So Blake Snell, if you're looking for something to do, I think it'd be a fun, co-host every Friday or something
that
on
would
the show.
Be great. If he
Huh?
wants to,
Blake's
if he wants to
hilarious.
take my spot, run the board, say some funny things,
You run
do
the
Big
board,
Five.
let Blake be on the show.
I think that would be hilarious.
Keep him busy. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, the Daily Gambit is moving up a little bit today so that we can make way for Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us from South Korea at the top of the hour. Stick around. right, welcome back to the program. 2:39 is the time. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby together in our Odyssey Palace studios. And Tony Gwynn Jr. should be waking up any time now. And he is scheduled to join us live from South Korea at the top of the hour.
I got to say,
if Scraby can make it work. So we have to put that as a caveat.
Yes, I got to say, I have never had more FOMO than this trip for some reason.
Yeah, I don't
like
understand it. I don't know what you feel like you're missing out on.
Because I feel like if I were to go on this trip, I would have got to do other things that I would normally never get to do if I was just like a fan on the trip. I would get to hang out with Tony and Jesse and Dave. And
how do you know they'd want to hang out with you?
That's a great question, because anytime we've stayed with Tony, he does not want anything to do with me.
We don't spend any time with Tony when we're on the road.
No, but it looks really fun. It does.
All right.
I gotta say.
Well, Padres Dodgers 3:05 Wednesday morning. We are almost upon it. My goodness. I mean, it seemed like it was so far off in the distance, but now here it is.
Yeah.
Just one couple nights away.
Couple sleeps.
Actually, about 1.5 sleeps.
I was just about to say, how are we going to do this?
You're not going to get a full sleep on Tuesday night if you want to watch the ball game. I love it. Jackson Merrill will wear number 3.
Yes, he will.
Not a bad number for a center fielder.
Not at all.
And he has been named the opening day center fielder.
Yes, he has.
Last Padre to wear number 3. That's a good trivia question.
Oh, Scrape. I know it because I put it in the grid.
I know. I didn't know it until
Mateo.
you put it in there. Jorge Mateo.
Yep.
Last Padre to wear number 3. Jackson Merrill. That's a good number for a young guy.
What number is Dylan Cease normally? Do you know?
84.
He is. Okay.
Yeah.
So
he
last
was 84
night when he was
last year.
pitching, he was 84. I'm like,
no, he's
they
always
must not
84.
have a number for him.
No,
yet.
he likes that.
Okay,
for some crazy reason. Maybe he was,
because that's what they give like minor leaguers who don't have a.
I was going to say maybe he was born in 84, but that would make him 40 years old.
I think he was born in 95.
Yeah, I don't think he's 40 years old. I don't know why he wants 84, but that's what he likes. No pressure. Jackson Merrill wearing the same number as the Bambino.
I didn't know that.
George Herman Ruth.
I knew that.
Wore number 3.
I knew that the Bambino was George Herman Ruth, but I didn't know his number.
He was number 3. So, good luck to Jackson Merrill. He's taken everything by storm. I mean, you look at this story. Yeah, again, it's on ESPN Plus, so you can't read it. So I have to read it for you.
There it is.
But what's his name? David Schoenfeld. Yeah. He's predicting which Major League Baseball teams will return to the playoffs. So these are teams that were in the playoffs before, but didn't make it last year.
I have major beef with Schoenfeld here.
You do?
I do.
All right. Tell me what it is as I read this down. The most obvious one, Yankees return to the playoffs. Second, Cubs. Third, Cardinals. Fourth, Mariners. Fifth, Guardians. You're wondering, aren't you?
Yeah.
Padres are the 6th best choice to return to the playoffs. But I think it's interesting what he says right at the beginning. He says, if we ran this article a week ago, the Padres wouldn't even have been on this list. But he was thinking they had no chance. But he's saying that the acquisition of Dylan Cease gives them a fighting chance to win 2 or 3 more ball games and maybe come out of the wild card cluster in the National League. He also says they've apparently solved their gaping hole in center field with rookie Jackson Merrill.
No, he does not like. He basically said Jackson Merrill's unproven, so we're not sure what he's going to get.
I was going to read all of that,
which is true.
I was going to read all of that. It's all true. We've been saying it all along. He answered the questions in March. He now has to answer them again in April and May and the rest of the time.
Yeah.
March is one thing. April and May and the rest is a whole nother story entirely.
I get it.
And here's what else David Schoenfeld says. While they will miss the playoffs again, there are just too many holes. They still don't have a DH. Left field is Jerkson Profar. He's coming off a minus 1.3 WAR. Merrill is a gamble. Jay Cronenworth gave the Padres the worst first base production in the majors.
This guy is literally finding ways to trash the Padres.
It's all true.
But here's my issue.
It's all true. And he also says you don't lose a Cy Young winner, one of the best hitters in the game, and the best closer, and expect to roll smoothly into the next season. He's right. I think a lot of us have lived the month of March, spring training, with rose-colored glasses. And I'm happy about that because it has everybody in a little better frame of mind. But all of this stuff is still a concern.
What a party pooper you are
Sorry.
today. Here's what I don't like about it and about everything going on this offseason. The Yankees have had a major injury issue with Garrett Cole. He's saying he'll be back in a month or two. Who knows when he'll be back?
Right.
Aaron Judge is already hurt. They're saying he's going to be fine. Aaron Judge hasn't been able to play full seasons before. He's missed a lot of games.
who just went on the injured list today.
There you go. I don't understand the hype for the Yankees. I understand that Juan Soto's on the Yankees, but to say that they are in a great place to get back to the postseason,
I don't know. I looked in the local.
I'm not there.
I looked in the local newspaper over the weekend. They had their baseball preview.
Mm-hmm.
Yankees far and away to win the AL East. Orioles fourth.
Fourth?
Who works at
They have
that
the
paper?
same team.
Who works at that paper?
The Orioles have the same team and Corbin Burns.
Orioles are not finishing fourth.
They might finish second, but not
they might
fourth.
finish first.
Man, I'm over this whole preseason stuff. I need to get this season under the.
All right, let's get to today's Daily Gambit because we got to make way for Tony Gwynn Jr.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit's our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. We'll get right into it. But first, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by your local San Diego County, the UPS store. Your local San Diego County UPS store locations are hosting a shred event from March 27th through March 30th, 50% off shredding services. Visit the upsstore.com for the location nearest you. See store for details. All right, Friday night, we bet on the Aztecs. They were 5-point favorites over Utah State. Chris and I thought, okay, 5-point favorites, that's a little weird, but we're going to take the Aztecs anyway. Aztecs started down, and then they won big. I believe it was 86-70 on Friday night over Utah State.
They outscored Utah State 69-36 to close that game. Turn a
59 to
17
36?
69 to
69,
36.
wow.
Yeah, they were down 17 and they won by 16.
Wow.
But again, it takes a lot of energy to keep coming from behind.
Yeah.
It cost them the next day.
New Mexico played Colorado State on Friday night. New Mexico 3-point favorites. In this one, I chose Colorado State. Chris chose New Mexico, and New Mexico did win, obviously, 74-61. So Chris wins that bet. North Carolina and Pittsburgh on Friday night. North Carolina 7.5-point favorites here. Chris chose Pitt. I chose North Carolina. And that darn half point gets me again because UNC wins, but they only won by 7, 72-65.
You got to look out for the hooks, Greg.
The hook.
The hook, 7.5, also referred to as 7 plus the hook. And the hook cost you.
Every time.
It seems to.
Arizona, This one didn't cost me. Arizona and Oregon. Arizona were 11.5-point favorites on Friday night. Arizona was Chris's choice. Oregon was my choice. And Oregon won the game 67-59.
Arizona just is a team waiting to lay an egg in the tournament. They're so talented. So many people love them. But they turn in clunkers like that often.
And I always pick them to go deep in the tournament when they do that.
I think everybody will pick them to go deep in the tournament. But we'll see.
Iowa State, Brock Purdy's former team, former college, against Baylor on, I think it may have been Saturday. Anyway, Chris chose Baylor. I chose Iowa State. Iowa State won by 14, 76-62.
Yeah, Brock Purdy paid off for you there.
They did. UC Irvine, the Anteaters were 8-point favorites over Long Beach State. Long Beach State doesn't have a coach, I believe.
They do. He's already been fired, but he's still there.
Okay, this is a weird thing because
very
they made
weird.
the tournament. We both chose Long Beach State. Long Beach State won the game 8-3-79, and they're in the tournament with a fired coach that's taking him through the tournament.
Dan Monson. We told you Bobby Smitherin, who's the new AD there at Long Beach State. The reason we picked Long Beach State in this game because he loved the Gwynn and Chris show.
That's right.
When he worked at San Diego State.
That's right.
And he hates it because he misses it now that he lives up in Long Beach.
That's why we picked.
So we picked Long Beach State.
Yeah.
Then I come to find out that Bobby basically fired his coach only to let his coach the rest of the season. And now Dan Monson's in the tournament. That is a crazy story.
If they win 3 games, do you? Well, Dan's probably going to get some other job offers. But do you
try to get back on your word?
your
I don't know what they do there, but they're playing Arizona in the first round. So who knows? Arizona lost as a 2 seed in the first round last year.
Yes,
to Princeton.
That's true.
So you never can tell.
Final bet: New Orleans Pelicans were 6-point favorites over the Clippers on Friday. Chris chose Clippers. I chose Pelicans, and the Pelicans won 112-104. So I won that one.
Finishing up the week, Scrabe, you were outstanding.
Wow,
17-10.
Dang.
I finished 14-13. So we both had winning records last week.
Good job for us.
Yeah. A couple of quick notes. The Aztecs, if you're wondering, are a full 75-1 to win the tournament.
Okay.
75-1. It's the same odds as Gonzaga, St. Mary's, Wisconsin, and Dayton. The favorite to win it, of course, is UConn, followed by Houston, Purdue, Arizona, and North Carolina. Auburn, by the way, who the Aztecs should play in the second round.
Yes.
They are the next choice at 16-1. That's a really tough second round matchup, but I'm just going to hope that the Aztecs, continue to have luck against the state of Alabama.
Hey, everybody thought it was a tough matchup against Alabama.
That's right.
And Furman and College of Charleston.
No kidding. They picked against us a lot.
And Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, they picked against us a lot last year. Aztecs also are 6.5-point favorites on Friday over UAB, which is a pretty big spread for an NCAA tournament game.
Yeah.
When you're, a 5-12.
And
matchup.
UAB had a game we'll discuss later because we don't have time now. They had a game flagged last week by the betting watchdog. Yeah, their game against Temple was flagged, so we can go into that later.
My goodness.
Yeah, it wasn't for anything that they were doing.
You sure?
According to Bleacher Report, it was just flagged. They didn't find anything else out about it. So,
well, UAB. I will say this. Now, UAB won the conference tournament from the same conference where FAU is.
Okay.
So that's the conference they play in.
All right.
And we know how good FAU was last year and is again this year. So, all right. There's no college basketball tonight. The tournament gets started tomorrow. My wife is not happy.
Why?
Because Colorado State's in a play-in game.
Oh.
And she can't figure out, how do I pick? Do I pick them? Do I have to pick them? Do I pick again? What do I do? She doesn't understand the play-in thing, and she wants to pick her alma mater. And I said, you don't have to pick that game. She goes, well, is it part of the bracket? And I said, it kind of is, but it isn't. It's very confusing to my wife.
That sounds confusing.
It's a little confusing to my wife, but Colorado State will play tomorrow night against Virginia. There's no college basketball tonight.
I have to say real quick that we did renew our Gwynn and Chris college pick'em tournament bracket.
Yes, I should steer people to that.
Yes, go to @MattScraby on Twitter, and it's pinned at the top. Also, if you played in our league last year, I sent an email to everyone, and apparently Kristen gives the email, so I'm hoping that other people got their email. But we have some people signing up. There's no buy-in. There's no prize. We're not going to steal your emails and sell them. It's just for fun for everyone to join. So go to my Twitter @MattScraby.
Bragging rights. And we'll have our bracket in there, yours and mine, and you can compare how you do against us, etc.
Yes. I will be out after the first.
And day. I will say this: if you can't beat me, you're not going to have much of a good bracket because I'm notoriously bad in picking the NCAA tournament.
So do you not? If you don't have any bets, it's cool because I have some stuff we can talk about real quick in the betting world.
I got some bets.
Okay, let's go.
All right, let's go. Boston minus 15.5 over Detroit. NBA action in Boston. Detroit's terrible.
So you're going with Boston?
I'll go with Boston, but that's a ton of points.
I'm going to go with Detroit.
They're going to take the points. You never do that. Golden State minus 7 over the Knicks. In Oakland. You're up.
Warriors.
Warriors. Come out and play. Not a great movie, but a memorable line. I'll take the Knicks. They're pretty good. 7 points is a lot. Lakers 9 over Atlanta. Lakers lost to the Warriors on Saturday night.
They did.
They're now tied for the number 10 spot or 9 spot or whatever.
Over Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's bad, but Atlanta beat the Lakers the first meeting.
I'm going Atlanta.
You're taking Atlanta. All right, I'll take the Lakers. We're going to disagree on every game.
Nice.
Who's going to score more points tonight? LeBron in his game or Steph in his game? Both guys have 25.5-point totals, so you're not picking over-under. You're picking who's going to score more, LeBron or Steph?
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
You'll take LeBron?
No, I'll take Steph.
Oh, all right.
And one more, hockey tonight at the Crypto.com arena. The Kings, 1.5 goal favorites over my Blackhawks. Kings beat the Blackhawks in Chicago 5-0 last week. They should crush them again. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'll take the Kings.
Take the Kings. All right. We're going to make way because Tony Gwynn Jr. is scheduled to join us from South Korea.
Hopefully.
Keep your fingers crossed. We'll see how it turns out. Come on back with us on Gwynn and Chris. All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris, hour number 2, 3 o'clock. Is the time. It's 7 a.m. the next day in South Korea. We are hoping to get it hooked up with Tony Gwynn Jr. We have promoted that fact.
I see him on the cameras.
You see him?
I do.
All right. So now we need to make audio contact with Mr. Gwynn.
Yes. Hold on. Give me a second.
Does he look any worse for the wear?
He looks great right now.
He's looking great. He always looks great. He always looks great.
Hold on.
You know, some guys just have it. I mean, Tony wears that Joe Musgrove bucket hat, and he looks fantastic in it.
We got him.
We got him.
Yes.
Tony Gwynn Jr. halfway around the world. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Hey, this is awesome. I'm so
Yes.
excited. Tell us about your trip to South Korea. Was it everything you thought it would be and then some?
It's been pretty cool, I gotta say. Being in a completely different country across the across the water has been it's been fun. Gotten a chance to eat a lot of good food. Make some good memories with my wife. We've been hanging out with Jesse and his wife, and Padres have won both exhibition games. Now a day off, and then the real thing starts.
And then it is for real. How was the flight? Was, you know, the thing everybody was kind of little hesitant about. How did that go smoothly?
The flight went as smoothly as possible. I mean,
Nice. Beautiful.
they gave us kind of a regimen on what the players were doing in order to kind of acclimate themselves better. And so what the plan was, you get on the plane, you stay up until the first meal was served. That was the plan, right?
Okay.
That got you about an hour and some change into the flight.
Yeah.
Once the first meal came, then you were free to sleep, and you tried to sleep until the second meal came, which was about 5 or 6 hours after.
Oh.
And so I just followed the game plan. And then once you had your second meal, you had to stay up the rest of the way. So, which was like another 2 hours at that point. So
now we read the whole thing. Kevin Acey laid it all out in the in an article in the paper that they were going to adjust the lighting on the plane. They were going to adjust the temperature on the plane to make it, you know, easier to sleep, make it easier to stay awake. I mean, this was really planned out. The Padres did not leave anything to chance on this flight.
yeah, and because I mean, there's I mean, not to be too dramatic, but there's a lot riding on it, right? You don't want anybody, you know, not having enough sleep, then getting hurt. Like there's just a whole bunch of dominoes that can kind of fall from that. So I will say I personally at my own home like to sleep in somewhat of an ice box. So it was at times a little warm for me on the plane, but I made do, and it was good, man. It was as smooth as a flight out could go. Now I am terrified of the flight back though, because I will say when we got here, it was early in the morning when we got here.
Right.
I slept for about 2 hours, but you know, after that, it was like you had to stay up the rest of the day. And by the time we got to I made it to 10, and I was sick. I was so tired. You ever been so tired that your body literally feels like it's shutting down? That is where we got. And so I went to sleep that night, and then I fell asleep easy, but then I was up at 3:30. And it's been incrementally better each day. It's 3:30, 4:30. Yesterday I got to 6. So it was good. It's been good, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Not to pry into your personal habits, but can you give us a little just give us a little, what have you been doing? I mean, when you haven't been at the ballpark, what have you been able to see? What have you been able to do? Did the Padres have any group stuff planned, or have you guys just kind of been on your own when you're not playing?
I think there's been some group stuff planned. I think everybody's kind of done their own thing. We've had some downtime, so some people have taken some tours. They've gone down there's been a tour to take you down to see what North Korea, looks like, things like that, because everybody's curious to at least say that they've been down there to see what it's like.
You did that? You did that?
No. I didn't say I did it. I said people were doing it.
I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. But we did, my wife and I and Jesse and his wife, we walked into the city, ate at a pizza place they had here, which was, I mean, it was pretty tiny, but it was still pizza, right?
Pizza. South Korea is famous for pizza. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want to miss that?
Had some pizza. We found this awesome pretzel place where they were making like all these different fresh pretzels. The coffee out here is fantastic too, by the way.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then of course we had to hit up some barbecue. Now I don't know if it's necessary to call it Korean barbecue here, but we had some barbecue. It was we're not doing it right in the States, I can tell you that.
Well,
I'll tell you that.
Beautiful. How the hotel's wonderful and everything else is good.
Hotels, yeah, no, it's been first class everything. Let me tell you, I didn't get to tell you about the plane though. Like, so the seats, they were like these little eggs, basically, that you could fully lay down in. I mean, but it was like all in your like row, and so that obviously made it easy for everybody to conk out and get some sleep.
Yeah, this is. I texted Tony last night. I have major FOMO. I told Chris earlier. Chris doesn't get it, but Bob Scanlon's been the best Twitter tour guide I've ever seen, and it looks like you guys are having a lot of fun.
Sounds like a fantastic trip. I wanted to say good on the Padres as well. One of the ladies, her name's Suzanne. She lives in our complex here. You know, where I live, and she is the CEO of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And the Padres are not the kind to pat themselves on the back about this. But she sent me a video from Korea that she received from Korea. She's still in San Diego. But the Padres made a ton of wishes come true for South Korean children who are Ha-Sung Kim fanatics, and they brought them out to the ballpark, and they got to meet him and go to practice and hang out. So, I mean, the Padres are over there doing a bunch of really nice things, along with getting ready to play baseball.
Yeah, no, there's been I mean, it's wild seeing the contingency of fans that are like, you know, Ha-Sung Kim, Yu Darvish. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, you know, watching videos of people freaking out, like when Michael Jackson was performing, like fainting almost.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's like.
There's been a little bit of that when, like, I'm talking like grown men like screaming at Yu Darvish as he walks out the hotel. Yeah, no, it's wild, man. It's wild.
That's awesome.
It's wild. But you know what? It's been pretty easy to like acclimate. I mean, as an American, right? You go into a country, you don't speak the language. But it's been pretty easy I mean, almost every place we've gone has like an English version of something to kind of help you along.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've been to a place where, you know, whether it be a food place or a store where someone didn't speak English. So it's actually been pretty easy to adjust.
Now, have you gone to any American type establishments? Have you gone to, like, you know, the Burger King or the?
He went to got pizza. Remember?
Oh, he got the pizza, but it wasn't Pizza Hut.
It wasn't like it wasn't like an American establishment. I have gone to. They have a Shake Shack at the.
Shake Shack. There you go.
They have a Shake Shack in our hotel. Like, there's a mall connected to it.
Oh, beautiful.
And they have a Shake Shack. They have a Baskin Robbins. I've hit up both of those.
Very good. Very good. Well, that helps make you feel comfortable. Now, Tony is in South Korea, of course. Padres play at 3 a.m. our time Wednesday morning. We're having the big viewing party down at the 7 Mile Casino. Hope all of you out there will join us for it. But what I wanted to know, Tony, is how in touch are you with what's going on in the American sports world over here? I mean, like, do you have your bracket printed out? Are you aware the Aztecs are, you know, a 5 seed and who they're playing? Are you in touch with all of that? Because the world has become a lot smaller thanks to the internet. Yeah. But I don't know how much of that are you getting?
The world is a lot smaller still because of the internet. However, one of the things that's tough is, you don't have access to the videos, right? So I knew I was following along with the Aztecs, I guess, early internet days before there was video, where there was just like a picture of a basketball court, a ball kind of doing its thing, shot. Yeah, so that's how I was following the Aztecs. I knew they got the 5 seed yesterday. We were a lot of us in the breakfast room were pretty disappointed how the final win against New Mexico, but
Yeah.
they still got a 5 seed, which I take, and I think quite frankly they got a I wouldn't say easy draw, but outside of UConn, it's as good as you could have asked for, considering how they finished the year. So I was happy with that. Sad to see my Lakers lose to Golden State the other day. That was very,
then. Yeah, you're in tune.
It was very hurtful, but yeah, no, I'm dialed in as much as I can be, at least.
Very good. By the way, Aztec fans, we just got confirmation from San Diego State. Elijah Saunders, their forward, will be on the show tomorrow.
Sweet.
At about this time, about 3:40 tomorrow afternoon. So
Nice.
you Aztec fans, make sure you're tuned in for Elijah Saunders tomorrow afternoon. All right, Tony. So we're going to talk about the Padres here in the next segment. I want to.
Okay.
I don't want you to answer yet, but I know that you were gone when Dylan Cease was acquired, so I want to get some of that. I also want to find out if Tommy Pham is anywhere in the neighborhood. He's being widely reported by our friend Bob Nightingale that he is on his way to you guys, but nothing official has happened.
He's saying that he's on his way to Korea?
No, but the Padres are very close to signing him.
Misunderstood.
Yeah, I misspoke there.
Okay.
But that they're close to signing him. So I want to find out if Tommy's anywhere in the neighborhood and just find out how everybody's doing. So we'll check. We'll take a quick time out. We'll check some traffic here in San Diego. Tony Gwynn Jr. up having a little orange juice, 7 a.m. South Korea time, joining us live right here. More Gwynn and Chris on the way. All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. And we have Gwynn back. He's part of the Gwynn and Chris show. He's live from South Korea, joining us tomorrow morning there. 7:19 a.m. is your time in South Korea. 3:19 here in the afternoon, San Diego, California. Tony Gwynn Jr., we haven't talked to you in a couple of days, but a glowing report from Tony on the trip to Korea. The airplane, by the way, did sound remarkable. I do want to ask this. It's said that they had like 10 or 15 first class seats, then like 140 business class seats, which is apparently where you were, Tony. And then there was like 30 coach seats. Other than like people like me and Scraby, who got those?
Oh wow! So when you put together when you put together a big trip like this with this many people,
yeah,
there's a lot of kind of loose ends that have to be tied up, and so whether that's the security staff that helps you get onto the plane, because remember, we're a Major League Baseball team, so we're not traveling through the regular airport, like walking through the terminal. So you're gonna need security to kind of get you to the security point. And then even when we travel regular, there's always like a I don't even know what you call it. It's someone that works with the airport security that flies with you. So we had a few of those folks on there.
Got it.
We had some of the interpreters. I mean, there's a lot of staff outside of the baseball players and the media side of things. There was just a lot, and so there's actually a few seats open in that coach area. However, from what I gather, there's going to be more people coming back than there were coming in.
You guys are going to pick up some people.
Yeah,
but I was concerned that Dave Marcus would be back there.
No, he was in a great seat.
He ended up with a good spot.
I think Dave Marcus was concerned he would be back there. I think if I'm being honest, there was some worry amongst the broadcast crew that's where we would be as well.
Would be back there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it worked out. Dave Marcus was seated not too far from me. He was enjoying himself quite thoroughly.
Good. All right. Well, fantastic, and all the best luck to the Padres to come home 2-0 after Wednesday and Thursday against the Dodgers. Dylan Cease is, he's there. He pitched last night. We didn't get a chance to talk to you, Tony. I will tell you, the complainers here in San Diego, the same people who complained that we're obviously not trying to win this year.
They're not complaining about this move?
Now they're complaining about the acquisition of Dylan Cease because we've given away too much of our future. It is, it's impossible to please everybody, but I don't see how this can possibly be a bad move. Look, if Drew Thorpe and all of these guys go on and win multiple Cy Young awards, you'll look back and say maybe that wasn't a great trade. But as far as for right now, for the prospects of the 2024 and 2025 Padres, this was a necessary move for them to make, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, first, before I give you my analysis on the deal, I want to tell you about when the trade went down, like what I was doing. So, typically after a game, normally after a spring training game, we all go our separate ways. But obviously, we were leaving for the airport about 2 hours after that game. And so I kind of go into our media room where we kind of hang out before games. And I come out because I was going to head down to near the locker room to the lunch area to get some food before we headed out. And Steven Wilson's coming down the hallway to my right. And I hadn't seen Steven really all spring. We had, just missed each other. He's, obviously trying to get ready for the season. I'm doing different things. And so I was going to wait. I was waiting for him just to kind of say what's up because we hadn't chatted at all. And he kind of had this look in his face, and he got his hand out like he wanted a bro hug. And I was like, I know we ain't seen each other in a while, but it ain't like that. But there was just something about the way he was looking, and I was like, what's going on? And he was like, I'm going in this deal for Cease.
Wow.
So I think I might have been like the first person he encountered after hearing the news that he was being traded.
Yeah. That could be a weird thing.
It was a little weird, but he took it in stride. I think he recognizes, obviously, he's going to a team that's not as good as the team he's on. But for him, I mean, this is an opportunity for him to be a closer. You know, we talk about often on our show how the difference between being a middle reliever and a closer in terms of pay, there's a wide margin between the two. So he took it in stride, and then you start to hear the pieces come together. Who are the other guys? I personally think this deal is a no-brainer. Dylan Cease is a dude. First of all, he's got an extra year of control, so it's not just this year; it's next year as well. He was an ace in the rotation he was in, and he is an ace. He's a guy who finished, in top 5 of Cy Young a few years back. So this is a dude who is very motivated to throw the ball well. And so I think from a Padres standpoint, this now slots everybody down. After Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove, now you throw in Dylan Cease. That moves Michael King down to the 4 spot. That allows the Padres to kind of piece the 5th spot however they want to, whether it's Brito, whether it's Vasquez, whether it's Waldron. They've got options, and that creates more depth, right? And so I think there's a chance that you're going to miss Steven Wilson, certainly this year. I mean, he's a reliable arm you could depend on, but the bullpen is, with Matsui, with the way Suarez has thrown the ball, there's been a lot of good things coming out of that bullpen. They seem to have some depth in that area. So in terms of, losing Iriarte, losing Thorpe, who was the other one that was in that deal?
Zavala, yes.
Yeah.
Zavala. I mean, Zavala's like 19. I mean, like you're not going to hear from Thorpe. Is probably the closest one at this point to being a big leaguer. And the Padres aren't in the business at this point of waiting 3 or 4 years now. The other prospects where we're talking Marcy, we've seen with Jackson, those guys the top guys are still in the helm. So
yeah,
I think this was a no-brainer deal. The Padres pitching rotation got better, and because of that, the bullpen got better, basically.
Yeah, well, 667 strikeouts for Dylan Cease the last 3 years, the most in baseball, the highest swing and miss rate of anybody in baseball. And Scraby went into a whole bunch of other statistics, BAPIP and this and that and the other.
We had a whole
which I don't really understand. But the thing to me is I just don't understand how you can complain and say they're not trying to win this year, and then you can complain when they are trying to win this year. So that's the only thing. If you don't like the trade, you don't like the trade. But don't tell me that they're, not trying to win when they are trying to win. And that's what this trade is all about. And I think it's going to make them better. They have 3 potential aces, which is something not a lot of teams in the National League have. So it's a hell of a nice pickup. How about Tommy Pham? Are you hearing anything, or can you give us any secret info, or are you just kind of all sitting back reading the same things we're reading?
I think based on the reports, based on things I've kind of heard on my own, there's definitely been some communication, perhaps even an offer. However, I don't know where we are in terms of if Tommy, is on board, if there's been an agreement. I don't know that part's happened. But it makes a lot of sense. It really, really does, especially at the price point that is being reported, anywhere between $2 and $5 million. That fits, at least according to what Kevin Acee has written, that there's some space there for it. So I think it would be a good move for the Pods. Bring somebody of his caliber, and he's a end of the year performer, if you will. Like you get into that September, October range, you got action. And so I think for the Padres, it would be a good move. It'd be a good move. I think he brings something not only on the field but in that clubhouse too. He's also played for Mike Schilt. Mike Schilt knows him very well. And so, I think it would be a good move for the Pods.
Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised to know, Tony, that half the people here are freaking out about why we would want to bring Tommy Pham in. So
Listen, I get it. I think Tommy is one of those cats. Either you love him or you hate him. There's no like lukewarm. There's no like medium
he's
on that.
polarizing
Like,
for sure.
He kind of is. You're either on one side or you're on the other. Now I know Tommy, so I like him. I think he's a good asset for any big league team, because the one thing you can 100% say about Tommy, he's going to show up to work every day and he's going to give you 100% of what he's got.
That's a good enough endorsement for me right there.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, if I get that from you, then I know that that's the way it is.
But did you know that he got stabbed outside of a strip club?
Oh, my God.
Did that factor into your decision? Because it factors into everyone
I had
else's
not
decision.
heard that, Scraby. Can you give me details?
Yes, he was
No, don't give me
lacerated
details.
in the
I don't
back.
want to hear the details. I know.
Yeah,
That's never going to go away.
No.
He could hit the walk-off home run in Game 7 of the World Series this year, and when he rides down in the parade on Harbor Boulevard, somebody will yell out something derogatory about the strip club to him. So
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's never going away. All right, Tony Gwynn Jr. is there. He's with us for another half hour, live from South Korea. He would be here longer, but we can't afford the connection for much longer.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's coming out of Chris's pocket.
It's coming out of my pocket. I'm only willing
expensive.
to pay for him to be on the show for an hour. So we're going to take full advantage of it. Padres Pen Pals, questions about the start of the season coming from you that we will answer next on Gwynn and Chris.
Ben and Wood.
Market only.
Don't have time to listen to an entire fan talk show? The Odyssey app's chaptering feature allows you to skip any segment you want.
They run the gamut, bro. They run the gamut.
On 97.3 The Fan.
All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. Yes, the program is whole. Once again, Tony Gwynn Jr. is with us from South Korea. Padres and Dodgers, Wednesday morning, 3:05 a.m. And Tony's there. It is, what do we got? Tuesday morning in Korea. And It'll be a Wednesday night game for Tony Gwynn Jr. and the Padres and Jesse Agler and everybody at, what was the name of the ballpark, Scrape?
Go Chuck Skydome. Chris called it Go Suck Skydome because he heard
because of the relief pitcher. Because of our relief pitcher.
I feel bad for Mr. Go. He did nothing to get Chris to love talking about his name as much as he's done it.
I'm trying to protect him. Trying to protect Mr. Go. I don't want him
He's really worried about the Philly fans yelling "suck" in the pen.
And Tony's played in Philadelphia. He knows what I'm talking about. So,
yeah, it's not just Philadelphia he's going to have to worry about.
That's right,
sure
Scrabe. That's right.
Sticks and stones may break his bones, but words will never hurt him.
He's gonna pitch so well they won't be able to say anything about it. Have you been able to FaceTime? Can you FaceTime from Korea and talk to your kids? I don't know how. Have you talked to your kids? Have you stayed in touch? I mean, I just don't know how far away is far away anymore.
Nowhere.
I mean, you could, nowadays you can pretty much get anything that you pay for. And
good.
We have talked to the kids. We have tried to enjoy ourselves. Because typically, if we open the door for the kids to like communicate too much, they'll impact the trip. And so,
yes.
we dabble, check in on them. My mom's got them. So.
Well, they're under lock and key. Then, if your mom's got them, they're not going anywhere. So you don't have to worry about them.
They're in good hands.
They are in excellent hands. All right, Tony, we are going to get some of your other thoughts on this. I want to ask one last thing before we get to Padres Pen Pals. Do you have time, Scrabe?
Yes.
Who do you think is going to start at third base tomorrow night, Tony? We got the rest of the lineup's pretty much set, at least for this game. Profar. Merrill, Tatis, infield, Jake, Xander, Ha-Seong Kim, and then, Campusano catching. But third base seems to be the only thing up in the air, right? Still up in the air?
Yeah. No, it's a close competition, honestly. I mean, you got to think there's two righties going for the Dodgers. So,
right. So maybe each guy will get one start.
Each guy will get one start. My guess it'll probably be Paul. Maybe I'll say it'll be Paulie to start maybe the first game.
All right.
I think I can see them Wade getting a start. I can see Paulie getting a start.
Yeah, I know that's kind of the only question mark that's left for me as far as opening night is concerned. All right, Scrabe, you want to get to traffic, and then we got some Padres Pen Pals.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Stub.
To ask the experts, Padres fans.
I was hoping maybe you can bring a little insight into it.
Write us, tweet us, Facebook us, send a carrier pigeon for Chris. He thinks they're cute. Padres Pen Pals begins
Hurt the pelota big time.
now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, before we get started with the Padres Pen Pals, I want to remind everybody that if you love Mediterranean food like I love Mediterranean food, Spiro's authentic Mediterranean cuisine, Coronado, La Jolla. For dining takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com.
All right, let's get some Padres Pen Pals underway. Now that we have a couple games to talk about over there in Korea, people will have lots of questions. And we're going to start it with a Ha-Sung Kim question. I think that's actually very fair with him hitting 2 home runs last night. But here we go. Okay, so I was not happy when everyone was talking about trading Ha-Sung Kim about a month or two. He's the heart and soul of this team. The more he plays with his current contract, the more the price goes up for the future. I've been asking this question for a while now, but if you have the money to extend Jake Cronenworth, Chris, shouldn't you have the money to extend Ha-Sung Kim?
Well, you might. My thing is, if you don't have to extend, I don't know that you extend
Ha-Sung Kim.
Well, I want to make sure that last year was the real Ha-Sung Kim, and I think that's what the Padres want to make sure, as long as they have the opportunity to do so. You know, the previous couple of years were less than stellar. Last year was terrific. You know, so let's see. Can he build upon that? You know, I mean, Ha-Sung is I love this guy when he's playing well. I don't love him on the bases yet, but I think he's probably going to tone that down a little bit this year, be a little bit more responsible. But what 17 bombs? I mean, can he hit 20? Is that, or 17 high wide? Let's see where he's at. So right. I think that's why they haven't done it yet, because they don't have to.
Tony, let me go back to the question just to make sure I'm asking it correctly. If you have enough money to extend Jake Cronenworth, shouldn't you have the money to extend Ha-Sung Kim?
Not necessarily. I mean, you extended Jake Cronenworth a year ago. Finances looked a lot different a year ago. And we know the constraints that the team is under this season. I think Chris is right. I think the Padres haven't extended him yet because they don't have to extend him yet. What's Ha-Sung gonna what's his asking price? What is he gonna want? I mean, this is not just contingent on the Padres wanting to re-sign Ha-Sung Kim. This is also contingent on Ha-Sung wanting to re-sign with the Padres. So I think ultimately this is one of those deals where you let the season play out and you go from there. I think the Padres will have no problem extending him if they can, should he put up another year that he did last year.
All right. Thank you for that question. Our next question is about Tommy Pham, and it's also about Trevor Bauer. So here we go. The news of the Padres being interested in Tommy Pham had me pretty excited over the weekend. He was a good player last year and got to play in a World Series. I know some fans are not a fan of Pham, but why is he any worse than signing Trevor Bauer? I don't understand how some fans can say they want Trevor Bauer instead of Pham. To me, it's not even close. So, Tony, the question is, why would Pham be any worse than signing Trevor Bauer?
First of all, I don't know that Tommy Pham is in that same category. And listen, I think it's important to note that neither of them did anything that caused that broke a law or anything on that matter. Now, there maybe is it a moral question that is that what?
Yeah,
I think that's what the way to phrase it.
Yeah.
And if we're comparing the two on that standpoint, I think one exceeds the other by a long shot. That being said, I think it's a fair point. Like, if you think the Padres should go out and try and sign Trevor Bauer, you certainly can't then say, "Oh no, what Tommy did at a strip club or what happened to him at a strip club is far worse." No, I don't think so. I think there is far more perceived baggage that comes with Trevor than there is with Tommy. So I don't think that's a good argument at all.
Who was this? Brutus fan on the chat says, just don't play fantasy sports with him and you'll be fine. Chris.
Well, no, it's not just don't play fantasy sport. Don't play with that man's money. That's what it is.
That's
and have
the
any
crux.
That's the crux.
Do not bet him $10 on a game of ping pong either. I would think he's gonna be competitive.
All right, Chris, what do you think about this? Why would it be any worse signing Tommy Pham than Trevor Bauer?
I would answer the question the exact same way that Tony did. I think it was perfectly answered. The one thing I would say is that if you sign Tommy Pham, maybe a third of the people are going to hate that. If you sign Trevor Bauer, I think 100% of the people are going to hate that.
No, that's not true.
90.
I would say 75.
Higher.
I would say 75.
Well, either way, 75% versus 33%. That's a big jump.
It is a big difference.
Yeah.
So, Chris, what he was going for works there, except for
what's
75.
that?
You were trying to say that less people are going to be mad about Tommy Pham.
I think everybody's going to hate the signing of Trevor Bauer. I disagree with your 75% insinuation.
Insinuation, he
Yes.
says. Tony, we need you back to play cop. Chris and I actually have been getting along. We had an impromptu show because the prospect game got rained out last Friday, and we were expecting to do 2 hours, and we did 4. And it went well. We spent about an hour
2.5 hours of the
conspiracy
show
theories.
on conspiracy theories, Tony. You would have loved it.
We really
Oh,
did.
so you made Scraby happy for 2 hours. That's great.
He was so in his element. That was our countdown. Our countdown Friday was top all-time conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Scraby couldn't narrow it down to 5, so he had to talk about 15 or 20 of
We
them.
kept getting to the end of the break, be like, we have to keep going. We're not done with
we just
our
kept
list
going.
yet.
It was fabulous.
All right. So that one's answered. Thank you for the question. There's 2 more. I am so pumped up about Dylan Cease being a Padre this year. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I don't even care what his ERA was last year. He was on one of the worst teams in baseball. I'm so confident in Dylan Cease being an ace. I went out and put $500 on Dylan Cease to win Cy Young at plus 2,500 for a total payout of $13,000. Don't tell my wife because I'm planning on taking this to the grave if I lose and hiding this money from her if I win. So, Chris?
No. I wouldn't risk 500. That's a lot.
Chris's new
All right,
500 is
sorry.
It's hun.
Yeah.
Hun.
I wouldn't go
Hun.
Well, here's the thing. I couldn't find 500 without my wife not knowing.
Just save up your coins.
Not possible. So the most I could probably most I could probably bet without my wife even knowing would be about 50. And she knows I don't gamble, but I think it's a tremendous bet. 13 grand. That's a nice payout.
That's
and
a very
Dylan
good
Cease is
payout.
a guy who finished second in the Cy Young balloting. So it's at least capable of happening. So no, I don't think it's a bad bet.
Tony, do you think this is a bad bet? Someone betting $500 on Dylan Cease to win the Cy Young?
No, I don't think it's a bad bet. I think it's a good bet. As I said, this dude was in a Cy Young race not too long ago. Put it this way, this guy, Chris brought up the swing and miss statistics. This guy went from, I think, in the low 100s on people swinging and missing at that slider to I think last year it was 220, which is still phenomenal. Guys hitting 220 on the slider. And that was considered a bad drop. He looked good last night, I can tell you that.
He also said he pitched last year 30% to his potential. So that's 30. Here we go.
Tony, in
Here
case
we
you're
go.
wondering.
I think what happened with that, Chris, you got a little perturbed because we were trying to talk analytics and someone said we don't.
Some guy in the chat wrote, Chris and Scraby don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I said, you know what? We don't claim to know everything about analytics, so calm down.
Yes. All right.
So I was livid.
Final one. This is from Taylor.
The crazy thing is the analytics, and people are going to be mad at me for saying this. Analytics are really a way for the nerds to be able to keep track of everything.
I wish I had said the same thing on Friday. Darn it!
I won't lie that I got a little angry when that person called us idiots, and so I said that they're a bunch of imaginary numbers.
That's hilarious. And you know, obviously, I just want to make you kind of clean that up a little. Obviously, analytics are useful. They're not, but when people get on their high horse about them, that's when it gets annoying.
Yes. All right. Last one from Taylor. And I saw this they put up a poll on X earlier today. Big Padre fan, big listener. Needs some serious help here. What jersey do I get? And the three choices are Graham Pauly, Dylan Cease, Luis Campusano. I voted for Dylan Cease. So he's actually listening for our answers. Tony, who would you choose? Pauly, Cease, or Campusano?
Pauly, who or Campusano?
Cease or Campusano?
Oh, I probably would get a Cease. No, I get Campusano. It depends. If you're okay with risking the fact that, you know, a player might not be here long, I would say Campusano.
Yeah.
If you're not worried about it, I would say Cease.
Exactly my thoughts. Chris, who would you choose here?
I can't get a Cease jersey because I can't run around with number 84 on my back. I know that works for him. Doesn't work for me. So I'm going to go Campusano. Pauly, I still got to see more.
All right.
Campusano, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a legit catcher for the Padres for, a handful of years. So that's the one I'd go with.
Okay, that is it for Padres Pen Pals. Thank you to everyone who submitted today. Any final questions, Chris, we have for Tony in the 2 minutes we got him?
In the 2 more minutes that I paid for?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, what's the plan today, Tony? You got the rest of the day off. So what do we got?
I have the day off. There's a big dinner planned with some of the Padre community here later on tonight. Outside of that, I don't know. It looks icy outside right now.
Yeah, what's the temperature been like? I didn't ask you.
Ready.
I was telling Stravy the first 2 days it was really good. We were overly dressed. It was in the low 60s.
Yeah.
Last 2 days it's dropped into the 50s. I think it's going to get into the 40s today and tomorrow. So
oh boy.
I'm prepared for cold. I wasn't prepared for the low 60s earlier in this trip. I was sweating everywhere.
Climbing into the 40s. All right. And are you going to Scraby's going to send you a link. So are you going to – you got to do a March Madness bracket, do you not? I mean, that's kind of un-American if you don't. So we'll definitely get your bracket. And we'll I don't know where, when we'll catch up with you again, but as soon as we do, we'll talk a little bit about that and the Aztecs and everything else. But so awesome hearing from you.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're doing great. Let me see a look at you. Look like you're doing great in the chat there. And the view doesn't look. Let me see the view. Can I see the view?
Oh yeah, you got to
show you guys the view.
Yeah.
See the view of. Oh wow!
Look at that!
Look at that beautiful
view. Man.
Wow, that's fantastic.
There. Do they? This is a really scraby question, but is there anything about Squid Game over there?
That is a scraby question.
I'm not kidding.
That is 100% a scraby question.
Squid Game is massive.
I haven't. Squid Game has not been mentioned once since we've been out here. So I don't know what that means, but
it means
that's
not
all
a
I
big
got.
Deal. It means it's not.
Well, the sunrise over South Korea there was beautiful.
Yes.
Enjoy your day, Tony. If we don't talk to you, have a great call in the opener, and
we're going to try to connect for at least a segment or something in the next couple days.
Well, we'll catch up.
For sure,
we'll catch up. I mean, he's got a lot going on. We're excited. We're going to be out there at the viewing party on Wednesday morning at 3:05. So everybody's doing their thing the next few days. And now, when are you? I know this is stressful, but you're coming back like Friday, Thursday night.
We leave Thursday after the game on the 21st. We arrive in San Diego on the 21st. So we're gonna go back in time, basically.
I love that. I love
that. And that brings me back to the famous ABA player Marvin Barnes, who was flying that same type of flight one time. Told Bob Costas, who's the broadcaster of that ABA team, I'm not going on that trip. And Bob Costas said, why not? He says, I ain't getting a no time machine.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Marvin Barnes, classic comment. We'll leave you with that. Tony, we'll catch up to you in a couple days.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Good talking to you.
All right. Bye. Great having you with us. We'll take a break. Chris versus the Fans is coming up next. 833-288-0973. Let's play some trivia. All right, here we go. Hour number 3, bringing the show back home here to San Diego, California. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, together in the Odyssey Palace studios. Great having Tony Gwynn Jr. That's, technology still kind of amazes me.
I'll give you that.
I know I'm easily impressed. But when you go halfway around the world and get the guy like he's sitting right here, and I can see him on the stream and on the YouTube chat, that's awesome.
I agree. I'm with that.
Very good. And it looks like a beautiful sunrise there in Seoul, South Korea.
When he
today.
said good morning, I was like, he's confused. No, it literally is good morning for him.
Yeah. Yeah, Tony is often confused as to what time it is.
Yeah, this is true, but he's also in many different time zones.
And he is this time he's really in a crazy time zone. So yes, it's understandable.
I'm seeing something that I was just alerted to by our friend Welsh Fryer on X that Drew Thorpe today, 2 2/3, 8 earned runs, 3 home runs given up.
Not feeling it in
Chi-Town.
In Chi-Town yet.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
a good sign. I like.
I'm
it.
not going to root against the guy.
I'm not going to root against him. Either.
Sounds like you are.
No,
sounds like you're rooting against.
All right,
him.
it does sound like I am, but I'm not. He started the game. Yeah, 8 runs. Wow.
All right. Well, everybody has that bad outing.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto has not had the greatest spring training either.
Well, let's hope we can continue that in the game on Thursday morning.
Yes.
This hour 97.3 The Fan brought to you by your local San Diego County UPS store. Your local San Diego County, the UPS store locations are hosting a shred event. Sounds like it's right up your alley, Scrape, a shred event. March 27th through March 30th, 50% off shredding services.
I already have our shredder here, Chris.
You do have a shredder. Visit the upsstore.com for the location nearest GC store for details. Not everybody has the shredder that you have access to. So check it out. We're going to get into Chris versus the Fans here. A little trivia game we play every single day at about 4 o'clock. And if you win it, you qualify for the grand prize, a 2-night stay at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, plus dinner for 2. Immerse yourself in a timeless elegance at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. It's a luxury resort, gaming, meeting destination. The legacy of the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, built upon more than 70 years of sublime beauty, unparalleled service, and timeless design. Book now. FontainebleauLasVegas.com. Anything else new that we need to touch on? Oh,
I don't think so.
Oh, yes, there is in the next segment.
Oh, gosh.
49ers cheating.
Do you see how many people have been tweeting you to bring this up?
49ers are cheating.
I haven't read the story yet because it came out after the show.
Yes, I'm getting a lot of tweets, too. You got to
I
get
know
on
you have.
Scravy's case. The
I've been tagging
49ers were
them.
caught cheating.
Now tell me this, Chris, before you go into it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it fake cheating or real cheating?
Well, I think they should take
They've already taken draft picks away.
I think they should take the charter away from the 49ers.
Charter, because they're going to have to fly Southwest.
No longer be allowed to compete in the National Football League.
All right. I see where you're going.
Yes, they cheated so bad we may have to kick them out of the league and bring in an expansion team
before we get to the next break.
I don't know. It doesn't look too bad, but we'll dive into that after we play Chris versus the Fans.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get the question wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before the first question, and we will give you that question for free today. All right, let me get our first contestant on the line. Let's go with Jason. Jason.
Hi, Jason.
How's it going?
Hey, pretty good.
Hey.
Pretty good. How are you?
He's ready.
Oh, he's ready.
Good. Real excited to get on.
Okay. Are you
Yeah,
ready
we're glad
to play?
have you on, Jason. So go get
Yes,
him.
sir.
Here we go.
Here we go. Question number 1. Oh, he's a first-time player.
Oh,
Player.
well then, Jason.
I knew it.
That's a whole nother.
I knew
That's
it.
a whole nother story entirely.
All right, here is the second question. What Major League Baseball team last won a World Series 75 years ago?
Oh. I'm going to go with the Pirates.
The Pirates.
The Buccos.
Stay there, Jason. Stay there.
I'm going to try the Tribe, otherwise known as the Guardians.
They're not the Tribe anymore, but
I
I get what
know.
you're saying. They were for a very long time.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Jason.
Sorry about that, Jason. But great having you on. Play again.
Oh,
You never can tell. I have missed many questions, just not that one.
Yes.
I think the last time the Tribe won was
Were they the Spidas?
1948.
Is
No.
that 75 years ago?
Uh,
Maybe 1949?
52 and 26. That's 78, 19. I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
Man,
It's been a long time.
I've never seen you fail at a math problem on the show.
I know.
What the heck is happening?
24. So 55. Just move on.
I'm going to get to the calculator because we
I
have
think it was
to calculate.
1948.
Okay, so what am I adding? 52 plus 26? 78.
That's 78 years.
2024 minus 78 minus 3. 1943.
1943. I don't believe they won it in 1943.
All
Move
right.
on.
All right.
I will
You've made this
check into it.
this problem. I
didn't make
love
the
how I'm just
problem.
blaming it on you. Let's go to Mac right now. Hello, Mac.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Are you ready to play?
Yeah, I'm ready to play.
All right. Here we go. Question number 1.
Tribe won in 1948. Like
Good.
I said.
Nice job.
You're welcome.
How many home runs did Ha-Sung Kim hit last night in Korea?
2.
2 is correct.
2 winner.
Nice job, Mac. Here we go. Moving on to a difficult question number 2.
Can't call them the Tribe anymore. We have to just call them the group. The Guardian. They're the group.
Okay, I'm
Doesn't
trying to
have the
think of a
same
name,
ring
but my
to it.
brain is not working, so I'm just going to keep going this way.
All right.
Mac, what former Padres pitcher won 22 games for the Cubs in 2015?
$22 games for the Cubs.
2
15.
games. Cashner.
Who would that be?
Stay there. Andrew Cashner?
Andrew
Yeah.
Cashner. That's a tough one.
All right.
22 games for the. I hate when the guys go on another team. Oh, I know who it is.
Who?
It's not. You made me think it was somebody who left the Padres. This was before he got to the Padres. The
Oh,
great Jake Arrieta. Is that who it is? Yeah.
Sorry, Mac.
Sorry, Mac.
It is. He won.
You made me think the way you asked the question that he had been a Padre, left, and went and won 22 games.
I
But
said,
that's
what
right.
former Padres
You're right.
pitcher?
He is a
Okay.
former Padre.
All right.
I just didn't think about it properly until I got it.
Okay. Let's go to our next contestant, Rudy. Hello, Rudy.
Hello, Rudy.
Hello.
Welcome
Three-time
in.
Loser, one-time winner.
3-time loser, 1-time
Ah,
winner.
you got to win. That's good.
Yeah,
You got a
that is
victory.
true, Rudy.
To
Here
your
we
credit.
go. Question number 1. Where did Justin Fields get traded over the weekend?
Not traded to where, what's his name? Washington.
Washington. Unfortunately, no. I know Chris knows this, so
Yeah, we got to talk about this a little later. Steelers.
yeah.
Before I answer, I
I'm
got
sorry.
bell. I got a bell before I even answered. That's pretty good.
Well, we literally,
I know we were.
you and
talking
I talked about
earlier.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Sorry
right.
about that.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's go to our next contestant. Let's go to Johnny in La Mesa. Johnny,
Hello, Johnny.
are you there?
Johnny in San Diego. What's
Oh,
up?
Johnny in San Diego. What's up, Johnny? You ready?
Johnny,
Good.
is this
Yes,
Johnny?
I
Doesn't
think so.
rebound.
Yes.
Doesn't
Is
yes.
this
rebound.
Johnny doesn't rebound? Oh,
Yes.
I got to tell you about Johnny.
He
Can I take a minute to tell you about
Yeah,
Johnny?
he messaged me and I just had a chance to get to tell you about it. So.
Yeah, Johnny's Johnny. I reffed Johnny's basketball game.
Oh
On
yeah, over
Saturday.
the weekend. Okay.
He and his friends
Yeah.
and associates had a little basketball league going there in North Park.
Okay.
And Johnny was one of the players, young man who had a soft touch, scored like 12 points in the ball game.
Nice job, Johnny.
But Johnny had only 2 rebounds. And I told him after the game, he's got to hit the glass a little bit. You got to hit the glass. He's, it's all shoot, no rebound. So I said, if he calls, he said he likes to call in and play. And I said, if you call in, tell me that it's Johnny who doesn't rebound.
All right.
So I'd know who it is.
There you go.
And now I know who it is.
I listen to Scraby's show too, and follow me on Johnny Dare 21 guys after. Okay.
Oh yes, Johnny. Thank you so
Johnny's
much for
a
listening.
terrific fan of the program.
He is.
Terrific fan of the
I believe
program.
I met Johnny last year at FanFest. Is that right, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm working at FanFest at Padres and Pals.
Okay,
I listen
very
to
nice.
Scraby's show too. First time player.
First
time player.
First
Wow,
time player.
Johnny goes right to question 2.
Oh, okay. Here we go, Johnny.
All right, Johnny,
question
go get him.
Okay.
number 2.
All right.
I'm glad he got through. That's pretty good.
Me too. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny. What Yankee totaled the most saves in baseball since the year 2000?
Mario Rivera.
Mariano Rivera is correct. You weren't even. That was quick.
Oh, yeah. Johnny's,
we were gonna
let me
need
tell
to-
you something. Johnny is going to race through this. He was giving me, during timeouts, he was giving me sports trivia knowledge.
And were you succeeding?
No, he wasn't giving me questions. He was just telling me
Oh,
sports trivia.
all
He
right.
knows it.
But no, Johnny definitely knows the sports trivia. Here we
Yeah.
go, Johnny. You get this right, or Chris gets it wrong, and you are
This is for
qualified
the
for Las
this
Vegas.
is for the championship.
Yes.
All right, go get him, Johnny.
Since the year 2000, 2 pitchers have won 24 games in a season. Justin Verlander and who?
It's Blake Snell.
Blake Snell.
Snell.
Oh, stay there, Johnny.
That's a tough question.
This is a tough question.
24 victories since when? 2000?
Since the year 2000, 2 pitchers have won 24 games in a season, not in the same season or anything.
Yeah.
Justin
I'd like to
Verlander
remember
and
that.
who?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that, Scrabe. How much time do I have?
I'll give you another 10 seconds.
CC Sabathia. I don't know.
Wow.
Johnny.
Johnny wins.
Very
Stay
good,
there,
Johnny.
Johnny.
Stay there. Don't
Stay
hang
there.
up. You are maybe on your way to Las Vegas?
Maybe.
I need a little more time to think this through.
Do you
but
have any other
I don't.
guesses?
I don't.
Guesses.
I don't remember 24 is a lot.
24 is a lot.
Yeah, who is it?
Randy Johnson.
Oh, okay. Well, was a pretty obvious guy. I
Yes.
just didn't think of him.
I mean, that was a difficult
really
question.
tough question, but Johnny's on his way potentially to Las Vegas.
I'm going to tell you one thing about trivia. If
Yeah.
you do like bar trivia or whatever, anytime they ask a question about the 2000s in pitching, there's 3 answers. Randy Johnson, Clayton Kershaw, and Justin Verlander.
I should have at least guessed Kershaw. That would have been a better guess.
Justin
Either
Verlander.
way,
Those
I
guys are the 3 that are going to be the answer.
And you also know that to trip me up, ask a question in the 2000s.
Yes, right.
Because I'm better at the 70s and 80s than I am at the 2000s.
This is very true.
Very good, Johnny.
Nice job.
I got to tell you, I had a wonderful time Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Officiating Johnny and the rest of the exceptional athletes that were there. My friend Quentin Norman called me, asked me to come out and officiate. We gave our time, and so uplifting to see all these young men like Johnny and the rest of them, all of them out there playing their hearts out and having a great time and smiles on their faces and, baskets going in. And I thought the funniest thing was they also still complain to the officials.
Really?
And yes, one of the guys, Johnny's friend, I think his name is Matthew. You can ask him in the break.
Okay.
I think his name is Matthew. I called a foul on Matthew.
Okay.
And he comes walking up to me and he goes, "Oh, now you're going to call a foul?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I'm taking heat.
That's amazing.
I'm taking heat from the kids."
Well, I mean, stop calling weak fouls.
It was a weak foul, according to Matthew. He didn't like the call.
That is hilarious.
He was not happy with the call.
I know that you were looking to tee someone up over the weekend.
Yes, I did not tee anybody.
you? Okay.
No, I was not going to do that. But we had a great time, and I was down at the I'm sorry I don't remember the name of the rec center. It was in City Heights, North Park area. But all the volunteers down there, thanks for letting us come and officiate. It was great.
Very nice.
And
Good
I'm glad
job,
Johnny
Chris.
got through,
Yeah.
and he won.
Yeah, he was sending me a message earlier, and I keep meaning to ask you why he wants me to tell you that he's no rebound Johnny.
He doesn't rebound. Yeah, that's who it is. That's how I knew who it was. And also, I want to say one more thing, because I met Johnny over the weekend. I did not know the answer to that question. Because if
That's true.
I would have answered. I did not let Johnny win. Don't think that I would ever do that.
No.
Because I don't do stuff like that.
Never.
So, Johnny, you're a legit winner. Stay on the line, check some traffic, take a break, and come back and tell you about the 49ers, the cheatingest team in the National Football League.
Okay.
From the
In the 5th round of the 2025 National Football League Draft, the San Francisco 49ers will not select anybody. That's right. They don't have that draft choice anymore. With the 131st pick in the draft, 2024 4th round selection, the 49ers, again, will not draft. That selection has been dropped back 4 spots.
I know what you're doing.
To 135. Why has all of this happened to Scraby's 49ers? We welcome you back to Gwynn and Chris Crisello, Matt Scraby, together in our Odyssey Palace studios. Tony Gwynn Jr., as you heard earlier, in South Korea with the Padres. The San Francisco 49ers have forfeited a 2025 draft choice, the one we just told you about. They're also penalized 4 spots for a selection in this year's draft. I don't really understand how they arrived at that. We're going to drop you down 4 spots. Okay.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's all a result of an administrative payroll accounting error.
Oh, it's just an error.
The 49ers, who hired Scraby and Company to be their accountants.
I told them not to make me the accountant.
It didn't work out. A league review discovered the payroll accounting errors at the end of the 2022 league year. It resulted in a misreporting the team's cumulative player compensation. I see. So the 49ers basically told everybody they were only paying X and they were paying more than X.
Well,
and so they were cheating.
What year was this again?
The end of the 2022 league year is when they found it. So that's not the end of last season, but the end of the season.
So karma got them already.
A little bit.
They lost to the Eagles in the NFC Championship, and Brock Purdy hurt himself. So
and they got karma'd out of the Super Bowl this year.
Well, they were in the Super Bowl.
49ers
won the Super Bowl.
Well, they obviously were only in the Super Bowl because they were cheating, which they finally now discovered.
Do they have any numbers of how much was fudged here?
Hundreds of millions. I don't know. It doesn't say. It just says the NFL determined that the club would have remained under the salary cap regardless of the error. And the league says, we believe there was no intent to circumvent the cap.
Yeah, they just had
so
me
John
doing
Lynch,
the accounting, and
John
I made a
Lynch,
mistake.
John Lynch, you were fine. But Matt Scraby, fired as accountant of the 49ers.
I got a lot of messages about this.
You're no longer working for the club.
And I say this. They shouldn't have done it.
Well,
they were penalized.
It might have actually been an error. I mean, I hate to defend your squad.
I won't go that far.
Maybe they just added something wrong. Do accountants ever make a mistake?
Yes,
like that?
they have to, but I don't know that they're using like loose hand numbers.
Longhand,
yeah.
Penciling it out. Yeah. Brock Purdy makes $251,764 plus Deebo Samuel's payroll of $14,753,000.
You can't call him Deebo Samuel anymore. You have to call him Deebo Samuel Sr.
I'm not going to call him anything.
He's changing his number.
I heard that the 49ers are planning on trading Brandon Ayuk. Did I hear that correctly?
There's been a lot of rumors.
Might be moving
to the Jaguars.
Speaking of trades, I'd like to know what the Chicago Bears were thinking, and I'd also like to know what Justin Fields is thinking.
Yes.
The Bears traded Fields over the weekend to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 6th round draft choice. Now, wasn't Justin Fields like the number 10 pick?
No,
15 or higher.
I think he was like, let me look, 7 or 8, maybe.
Okay. Well, all right. That's close enough. But you know what I mean? He was an early 1st round pick. Now, 2 years later, all he's worth is a 6th round.
Oh, you were closer.
Selection.
11th.
Okay. So I don't understand that. But the Bears, and maybe they're just defending themselves, trying to make themselves look better. But the Bears say we couldn't get a better offer. Then the Bears said that they did find some other takers for Justin Fields, but Justin Fields did not want to go to those places.
I wonder where those teams,
I don't know who those were, but apparently Justin Fields said okay to the Steelers. The Bears didn't really have to do that, but they were trying to be right by Justin Fields. I just don't know why he'd want to go to a team where they basically have already given the starting job to Russell Wilson. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Go somewhere where there's a chance to be the starter.
I don't know. Maybe
I didn't get that.
Maybe he thinks he would be good being under Russell Wilson for a year, or maybe he thinks he could start over Russell
Wilson isn't going to teach him diddly.
I
think
feel like
Russell Wilson has
been
the
humbled
time
a
to
little
help
bit.
anybody.
I feel like he's been humbled a little bit with this whole Denver Broncos.
I really
experience.
do. I hope you're right, because I mean, this whole diva act did not work.
It didn't
in Denver.
No, it did
so not. Maybe he'll come back down to earth and try to help Justin Fields, because I've seen the really good Justin Fields a couple of times, not often, but I've seen it. So that tells me that it's in there somewhere.
Yes,
you just got to bring it out more often.
I don't really know what the Steelers are doing. Like this makes it's a 6th round pick, so whatever. But this makes no sense. You're immediately causing controversy in the quarterback room by putting these two guys together. I don't get it. And then you trade Kenny Pickett away to the Eagles.
Well, the Steelers, for their part, are saying we got Russell Wilson for like $1 million.
Yeah.
And we got Justin Fields for a 6th round pick.
So why not bring him in?
So why not bring these guys in? We're not risking anything. Hardly.
Yeah, because I guess Russell Wilson, I don't know how long his contract is with the Steelers, but hey, he could be out after this year. Yeah. Could be Justin Fields' team, but it's just a very strange move.
I'm on record as saying that Justin Fields will go on and do better with his team than Caleb Williams will do with the Bears. I'm on record. The problem with my claim is I don't know that Justin Fields are going to play next year.
That's a bad.
So it's going to be hard to put that claim to the test.
It's very true.
It's
very true. The claim, though, I don't know why the Bears are. Okay, so the Bears actually get to sit down and talk with Caleb Williams. They get to watch his film and all this other stuff. But there's more that comes out from Caleb Williams' time at the Combine, saying that he wasn't necessarily scoring points with people. Why are the Bears just looking completely the other way? And just like, oh, he's good. We're going to draft him number 1 overall. Like, I feel like I would listen to some other people before I decided that I knew everything.
Yeah. Cleveland Browns knew everything when they didn't listen to people and took Johnny Manziel.
Tim Couch,
and others. It sent them back. The draft choice of Johnny Manziel set the Browns back 4 years.
Yeah.
That's what this kind of mistake can do.
It's weird. Strange.
All right. I was looking forward to seeing Justin Fields play somewhere else with the proper coaching and the right surrounding cast, etc. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen in Pittsburgh. So the whole thing didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
It didn't at all.
It just seemed like a big fat waste of time. All right. By the way, there's another 49er story.
Uh-oh.
You ready for this one?
What is it?
The San Francisco 49ers today agreed to a 1-year contract with quarterback.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
That's a good move because they lost Sam Darnold to the Vikings, I believe.
Dobbs will likely replace Sam Darnold as the 49ers backup quarterback.
I'll take it. He played for like 7 teams last year.
I'll tell you one thing, man. Your quarterback room is getting weaker and weaker and weaker.
No, you know what they do, Chris? They come to San Francisco to get themselves another job.
Brock Purdy and now Joshua Dobbs. Not scaring anybody, Scrape. Not scaring anybody.
Should. Can we just go to break now?
Yes, we've got a big 5 to get to and also some traffic. So it's all coming up when we return on Gwynn and Chris. Traffic and the Big Five. Crisello, Matt Scraby together in our Odyssey Palace studios. This is Gwynn and Chris. We had a Gwynn sighting earlier. He was on with us for an hour from Seoul, South Korea. Scraby set it all up. Tony handled it perfectly.
Yeah.
You couldn't have trusted me to sign in the way he signed in successfully.
We're going to have to talk about your travel game for next year.
All right.
Because
you got to give me something better to work with. I mean,
something better to work with. I asked you to bring a computer with a webcam, and you brought a computer that didn't have a webcam.
True. Bit of a problem.
It is a problem.
I'll work on my travel game next season.
All right.
I promise.
Sounds good.
All right. Before we get to this, I wanted to just congratulate you on
Why me?
Yes, your sport actually produced something entertaining yesterday.
You mean golf?
Golf. I'm talking about golf. What a finish to the Players' Championship yesterday. Scotty Scheffler rallying from, what was it? 6 shots back, 7 back?
I think he shot 64 yesterday.
He did. Shot 64, takes the lead, but then there were 3 or 4 other guys who had a couple of holes to play.
Yeah.
They're trying to catch him.
That's always fun because he's just standing there watching.
He's just standing there watching around with the rest of us. Xander Schauffele couldn't do it. Xander. Once again, bridesmaid. He is like the bridesmaid champion of golf.
It's unfortunate.
Unfortunate for the former Aztec. That's what he gets. You know what? When he agrees to come on his local sports talk show, he will then become a major champion. Take a page from Charlie Hoffman. Come on the show, Xander Schauffele. Come on. You're an Aztec. We're here for you. We root for you. We talk about you. Can't ever get the guy on the show. Anyway, Hanson, I think his name is Hanson.
Thanks for revealing all of my off-the-air
complaints.
struggles.
I know. You've been trying to get Schauffele for a long time. I think the guy's name was Hanson. Missed a putt. Brian Harmon.
Yes.
And so it came down to Wyndham Clark. He had about a 17-footer, I think it was, up the hill. Was going to slide a little to the left. And, I mean, he looked at it for about a half an hour, right? I mean, every angle.
Which he deserves.
Sure. I mean, it's for the championship. He's got to make it to force a playoff. And he hits the absolutely perfect putt, or at least I thought it was. Rolling right up the hill, moving a little to the left. It's going to go right in the cup and force the playoff. And this thing, I don't know how that happened. Scrape, you're a golfer. Tell me.
He hit it too hard.
The ball went in the hole, and I mean in the hole, curved around the back part of the cup, and then came back toward him.
I know how it happened. It's called gravity, and he hit it way too hard. He needed to hit it just a smidgen left.
But if he would have hit it a smidgen left, it probably would have curved too far to the left. And
that is one thing about golf, is that you never really know if a putt is really 100% makeable because you just don't know how it's going to react. But I did freak out yesterday when he missed that too. How do you that number, that finish of 17, which is the island par 3, and 18, which has water all the way down the left side, is
crazy.
Scary.
My wife, who's a budding golfer, as you know, she found the 17th, island green to be ridiculous. Like
ridiculously difficult, or ridiculously
ridiculous. Like ridiculous. Like, how does anybody ever land a ball on there? I mean, these are the pros. They do.
I mean, it's not a far shot for them. It's only
130 yards.
Yeah, which is nothing for them.
I know, but still. I mean, the intimidation
the
of having to
intimidate you.
Yes, the intimidation of having to land it in the middle of an island with green on every side. I was saying, you're way better, but if you took 50 drives on that hole, how many times would you land 17? On the green? Yeah. You think like half? A third?
I want to be on the lower end.
A little low?
I would say like a third.
A third. The other 2/3 you'd be in the water somewhere. 130
yards, I would probably say actually a quarter.
But you got to get it up in the air so that it doesn't bounce and bounce off.
Is I have a high ball flight, just like Brooks Koepka.
You and Koepka.
We'll never win the.
You'll never win the. You're never going to win the British Open. You and Koepka.
Never.
Anyway, it was good for golf because Scotty Scheffler needs to continue to be a star until they can hook back up with the live golfers and create more stars. Because he's the guy right now. He's the reason we tune in.
I'm not a big fan of Scotty Scheffler.
Well, I
don't
can't help
know
you.
why.
Can't help you.
I don't know why. I feel like he's
the one
boring.
guy we're all watching right now.
He keeps winning, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, get to traffic, then the Big Five.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a few trouble spots here. Hit and run crash on southbound 5 just before Civic Center. It's over to the right shoulder. Also, South 163 at the South 805 connector ramp. Accident involving car and motorcycle. That's over to the right shoulder. A couple of crashes on southbound 67. One at Mapleview. That is over to the right shoulder. Up ahead, another accident at the West 52 connector. That is over to the right shoulder. The clearing stage. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, I also want to say, because the Beef said it's only 1:30. It's not as hard as it seems. I think it would be very hard.
It's not easy. I mean,
tournament
come on, let's be
play,
honest.
and I'm not saying that the Beef isn't a good golfer because I don't know, but it's.
Wait, who's the Beef? Oh, the Beef is
chat.
okay.
Yeah, if you want to
the
watch
Beef
us,
says he
we're
could
on
drop
YouTube.
it on there like every time.
No, he's just saying that it's not as hard as it seems, but it's still
hard.
tough. It's hard.
It's intimidating for most normal human beings.
There was a guy on
to
Thursday,
try to drop it onto an island like that.
His name's Aaron Baddeley. He used to be a better golfer, but he still is on the pro tour, and he's played the hole, according to them, like on Thursday, around 42 or 43 times.
Okay.
And he's hit the ball in the water 14 of those times.
Yeah.
So that
sounds
is
a little more normal to me.
All right. Also, Dan, I do not have the attitude of Brooks Koepka. I promise you that.
Yes, Brooks Koepka. Let me tell you something. Brooks Koepka is a much nicer guy.
Number 5.
All right, let's move on.
You didn't get there in time.
I set myself up for
you
that
didn't
one.
get there in time.
All right, the first power rankings on MLB.com are out. And of course, I had to go look. I scrolled and I scrolled and I scrolled and I scrolled and finally found the Padres at number 14.
No.
What baseball fans wanted to point out in this power rankings is that the Yankees are being ranked 8th, even though their best pitcher is going to be out from the start of the season. And Garrett Cole, also Aaron Judge, may not be ready to go for opening day, although they are hopeful.
Are you looking at the MLB power rankings?
Yes.
MLB.com?
Yes, MLB.com.
Got the
power
Yankees
rankings.
at 7, actually.
Oh, they moved them up.
From the last time you read this, yes, they're at 7 now.
Even our guy Will Leitch, who took the votes, thought that the Yankees were a little high. I am apparently on a mission to trash the Yankees this year. I don't know why, but do you think 7, Chris, is too high for the Yankees to start the year?
I do. I'm not enamored with the Yankees yet. But then again, I'm not enamored with Juan Soto, right? We know this by listening to the program.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else thinks Juan Soto is the greatest baseball player ever. Wait till they find out in New York that he's not. He's a great hitter. He's a great walker. He is not a great baseball player, because baseball playing includes a lot of different things besides hitting. That's why I'm not as enamored. The injury to Garrett Cole doesn't help. Injuries, nagging stuff to Aaron Judge doesn't help. DJ LeMahieu being hurt today
by the way,
doesn't help.
Stanton has a spot on the IL usually reserved through the year for at least 60 games for a hamstring.
Reserved for the year.
Yeah, it's like a dinner reservation.
Yeah. I'm not enamored with the Yanks, not that much. I'm far more enamored with the O's in that division, Scrape.
The Orioles.
Yeah.
For me, I came up with a question. It's way too high. I don't get all the Yankees love. I feel like the Yankee love, maybe I'm just paying attention to it more this year because Juan Soto's on the team, but I feel like the Yankee love has been brought back in what's the phrase I'm looking for?
Well, the Yankees spend a ton of money, and the Yankees are a big shiny object.
They are.
A lot of people are drawn to that.
I wish that they wouldn't
until the
force the
baseball
Yankees on
actually
us, though.
starts playing,
because they don't ever ask people who aren't Yankees fans.
Yes, but
do you like the Yankees?
Well, just you know what, get over that, because they're always going to force the Cowboys on us and the Celtics on us, because those are the big,
and the Lakers for that matter.
Well, those are the big draws.
All right.
So you
I'll
just got to
stop
get used to
complaining
it.
about the Yankees.
Sorry about that.
Tune in to 97.3 The Fan this Wednesday and Thursday as Soapy Joe's presents the games from Seoul, South Korea. Listen to Jesse Agler and Soapy Joe's Chief Bubble Officer Tony Gwynn Jr. call the action. Soapy Joe's is also the official sponsor of our Padres in Seoul, South Korea watch party this Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. at 7 Mile Casino. It's all brought to you by Soapy Joe's Car Wash. Good, clean, fun.
Number 4.
Now, Mark Ziegler tweeted yesterday. Here's his first tweet, and then I'll give you his second tweet. First one is Mountain West gets a record 6 teams in the NCAA tournament, but Colorado State is the last team in. CSU and Boise State are in the playing games, and Mountain West regular season champion Utah State gets only an 8 seed.
Got it.
Then he says, translation, going to a 20-game conference schedule in the Mountain West next season is idiotic. Okay. The selection committee sent a clear message that scheduling hard in the non-conference is important. SDSU had one of the nation's hardest non-conference schedules and got a 5 despite finishing 5th. So I'm up first. Is this how it, or should they? I'm just going to ask the question. Is this how it should be? And then it'll morph into whatever. Chris is going to have a better answer than me, I have a feeling, because he thinks about this stuff way more than I do. But I do think if you're going to open up your conference at the detriment of your conference, then you probably shouldn't do that. You shouldn't go to a 20-game schedule if it's helping your conference get into the tournament by playing teams that are outside of your conference that are good.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going with that,
Yeah,
Chris.
you're pretty right. I mean, here's the reason that you don't want to play 20 games, because that takes 2 potential games away from non-conference. And the Mountain West Conference is not yet thought of highly enough, as was proven by the bids that were handed out, the number of seedings that these teams got. It's not highly enough to just only play each other.
Yeah.
The Mountain West Conference has to get some marquee wins in the non-conference. Colorado State got one over Creighton. Aztecs beat Gonzaga and St. Mary's. These are musts. You have to have this, and you have to give your conference teams a legit chance to get some of those.
Yeah.
Instead of playing, 2 more conference games that aren't going to help. So that's where Ziegler's coming from, and he's right.
All right.
Number 3.
Now, Georgia head coach Kirby Smart is taking some heat for something that he said about high school seniors the other day. He was asked for his thoughts on high school seniors sitting out their senior year. I didn't even know this was a thing, Chris. Did you know that some guys sit out their senior years because they've already been committed to a team and they don't want to play?
No, I had no idea. Absolutely no idea.
Well, it's true, and Kirby Smart's taking heat.
Say that again so everybody gets it, because they might have missed it. Kids that are really good high school football players are not playing
their senior
as a
year
senior
because
so that they
can have a spot with another team.
Because they're already legit guaranteed to go to college and play somewhere else. So they're just not playing at all.
Well, I have to say, I might be a Kirby Smart fan now. Here is what he had to say about that.
There's high school coaches that say, well, they won't play their senior year. Well, if a kid doesn't play a senior year because he signed, I don't really want him on my team. I just, if he's going to opt out for a senior year, then he'd do the same to me. So I don't really know if that's a viable option. A lot of high school coaches think, well, at least I'll get my kids signed, because high school coaches and players are losing opportunities ad nauseum by signing in December and not having spaces because of the portal. So, I don't like the idea of someone signing before their senior year, because I think the senior year matters. I think in the state of Georgia and the Southeastern Conference footprint, the high school season of your senior year still matters. I want to watch a kid play.
There you go. That's what Kirby Smart said. And people are like, don't you get paid millions of dollars to, blah, 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 you're stupid, and all this other stuff.
Blah, 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 you're stupid.
Yeah, I didn't really present that well enough.
Not
but I
too
think
well.
people can understand what kind of heat he took. Chris, do you agree or disagree with him?
1,000% agree. Kirby Smart's my guy on that one. You leave all the other stuff out.
Okay.
Just go with this. You play sports to play the game. I hate to sound like Herman Edwards, but you play to play the game. You don't play to sit out. Enjoy the experience of playing. Your senior year of high school, your freshman year of college, play in your bowl game. Even though that's a little riskier. But I can't stand the fact that people pass up opportunities to play because they're worried about what happened or they've got something signed or some backroom deal going on. Furthermore, St. John's, Pitt, and Oklahoma, you're all in my crosshairs because you wouldn't play in the NIT. You didn't get chosen the NCAA. You passed on the NIT for a variety of stupid reasons. You did not think of the kids who might want to play some more college basketball games. Not everybody is a superstar. Not everybody's going to sit out for the draft. Not everybody's going to go recruit. Not everybody's going to take more NIL money. Some people actually like to play, and you robbed those kids of the opportunity to play. I couldn't agree with Kirby Smart more, and I wish more people would come out and say the exact same thing, because that's the only thing that can get people to stop sitting out their senior year.
I don't have anything to add. If I'm a kid, like I was a kid who was on a high school football team who wasn't good enough to start, but just wanted to have a fun senior year in high school where we're going to win some games, maybe even go to the playoffs, that would be like my former high school teammate, Kevin O'Connell, sitting out his senior year, Chris. And do you know what would happen if he did that? We would have never beat Poway when he scrambled for 4th and 12 in the fourth quarter to keep us alive.
And you would never be best friends with him because you wouldn't have got to know him.
That's right.
Huh?
Such a good point, Chris.
Thank you.
Number 2.
All right, here's another one of my least favorite things in the world. The Kansas City Chiefs are trying to look for some payments from taxpayers and also the government to upgrade Arrowhead Stadium. But they said if they don't get this sales tax thing passed, they might leave Kansas City, Chris. During last week's free agency free-for-all, Chiefs president Mark Donovan made it clear that if the upcoming public vote fails, the Chiefs could flee. He said it's really simple. These are not new taxes, and you keep both teams. The Chiefs have already mobilized enlisting players and Coach Andy Reid to contribute to a video aimed at getting people to approve the tax. I'm up first here. What happens if the April 2nd vote fails? Well, nothing's going to happen because they're not moving from Kansas City. But I'm getting more and more and more angry with these cities. Not even the cities, sorry. The teams that are basically just saying, you want us to stay, you pay for a stadium. It's not how it works, people. Like, you just won 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls, or at least, yeah, right? No, they won 2 of the... Anyway, they've been to the Super Bowl a lot recently.
Get your facts straight before you present your case.
You're making a lot of money over there, Chiefs. You're not putting it back into the locker rooms. Your players hate your facilities. I don't get what's happening here. You know what? I say taxpayers call their bluff. See if they'll actually leave, because there's 0 chance that they're going to leave Kansas City. I hate these ultimatums, Chris.
I know you do, but unfortunately they have the hammer because they've got the team. But what the Chiefs ought to be concerned about is the fact that they were rated the worst organization in the sport.
Yeah.
Not on the field, but off the field.
Like, put some money into it.
If you remember that player survey that came out a few weeks ago.
They hate their practice facilities.
Yeah. It's time that the Chiefs just make themselves a better organization. They've got the support of the people in Kansas City. They'll figure that out. But the Chiefs, it's a bad look to keep winning the Super Bowl and be the worst organization in the sport. It's not good.
Not good at all.
So come on, Chiefs. You can do better than this.
Not good at all.
Please. Give Brittany Mahomes a place to, take the kids during the game. Give Taylor Swift a place to go relax.
She can.
While
she has
Travis
her own
is playing.
Suite. Someone on the chat, Anthony on the chat, said just have Taylor Swift pay for the remodel. It's true.
Yeah,
She's
she
got
could.
the money.
She could.
All right. We don't need a number 1, so we'll just head on to 5 p.m.
Happy hour. And aren't we happy today? Aztecs NCAA tournament. First look at the bracket when we come back. Scraby, start the happy hour. I got a trivia question for you. Don't look. Look away.
Okay.
What's this?
It's a piece of paper.
What is it? What is it,
Scrape?
Scrape?
Oh, it's your dumb bracket.
It's my bracket.
That was a
happy
trivia
bracket
question?
day, everybody. Happy bracket day. It's the day after Christmas for college basketball fans. Welcome back into Gwynn and Chris. Happy hour. Final hour of our Monday get-together. The brackets are out. Everybody spent most of their Monday filling them out. Tomorrow you can double-check them. Wednesday, you call in sick because you're going to the Padre game and going to hang out with us. 3:05 Wednesday morning at the 7 Mile Casino.
Mm-hmm.
Down there in Chula Vista, and we're all going to be there. Ben and Woods are hosting. Scraby and I are just kind of going to be window dressing.
Thank you.
But we'll be there to watch the Padres and Dodgers, all brought to you by our great friends at Soapy Joe's. You know, Tony Gwynn Jr. is the chief bubble officer.
Of course.
And although I am not on the board of directors like Tony Gwynn Jr., I go to Soapy Joe's like all the time.
He does.
Oh, endless. Way too much.
I went yesterday.
Yeah. It's almost uncomfortable how often I go get my car washed.
Do they go, hey, you're here again?
Sometimes I go twice a day because I got to take Lori's car too.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Twice a day?
Sometimes. I'm a big Soapy Joe's guy.
I guess so.
Now, so then after that, you're going to call in sick to work Wednesday. Thursday, you're going to watch the Padre game again at 3:05 in the morning. Then you're going to want to stay home and watch the beginning of the NCAA tournament, which starts Thursday morning at 9. And then Friday, you're going to call in sick one more time because the Aztecs play at 10:45 Friday morning against UAB. So it's only a 2-day work week, as far as I can tell. And I think everybody should just follow along with that.
I hate to tell you this, Chris.
What's that?
We're not off the rest of the week.
You and I aren't off.
No.
I know, but we don't care because there's going to be so much fun stuff to talk about this whole week.
There will be.
Opening day, NCAA tournament, brackets.
I can't even really call it
the whole
opening
thing.
Day.
Yeah, not quite, but first 2 games of the season, if nothing else. Anyway, I got my bracket, and I'm not very good at this. I mean, let's be honest. I think last year we did it. And what is again, go to Yahoo.
Oh, yes.
Search for the Gwynn and Chris bracket.
Well,
how do you get signed up if you're not, if you don't get a link?
You can go to my Twitter. You know, I gotta get that information together.
All right, get that together.
You're right. But you can go to my link on Twitter. It's at the top. You just click that and you could sign up.
All right. Well, we're going to have everybody turn in their brackets and we'll see who does the best over the next few weeks. But I was looking at the brackets. I got some first round upsets for everybody. Here's my first round upsets.
Okay.
And take all of these with a grain of salt because I'm not usually very good at this. In the East, I only like one first round upset. I like Drake. Love the Drake. Over Washington State. 10 over a 7.
You know, we have some diehard listeners out there that
are
big Washington
Cougs
State
fans.
They went there.
Huh? Well, then they should be
they
rooting
get
for the
really
Cougs.
angry when you talk bad about the Pac-2.
The Pac-2? I don't talk badly about the Pac-2. I'm a West Coast basketball fan.
He is.
I just think Drake's better than Washington State. That's the only upset I see in the East. I will say that I have seen several places already that say UAB is going to knock off the Aztecs. But it's the same people who said Charleston was going to knock off the Aztecs last year.
Didn't happen.
In the West, not a lot of upsets here either. But I do like a couple of Mountain West teams. I think they're well positioned to pull off upsets. New Mexico against Clemson in the 11-6 game. I mean, if House and Mashburn shoot like they did against the Aztecs in the tournament, forget about it.
Yeah.
The other thing is New Mexico's best guard did not play against the Aztecs. Donovan Dent had the flu.
Oh,
he sat on the bench the whole game.
Oh, they were making it seem like he was in and out.
Yeah, he came in for like 9 minutes, but he didn't score and he couldn't do anything. He's excellent. New Mexico's really good. I don't know what they were doing messing around all season, finishing 6th in the conference.
That's what I thought, because when I was watching them, I'm like, man, this team seems way better than they are.
They are good. They are good. I think they can beat Clemson. And here's the why Nevada, I think, has a shot against Dayton in a 10-7 game. The game is in Salt Lake City, that one, and it's altitude. Guess who plays all their games in altitude? Nevada.
They already do that.
So it's an advantage.
It is an advantage.
That's why I'm picking them.
All right.
All right. Dayton doesn't play too many games in altitude. Big advantage for Nevada. In the South region, you have to pick a 12 over a 5 somewhere.
Yes, you do.
I like James Madison.
Okay.
They're 31-3. And Wisconsin, Big Ten, never a fan of Wisconsin. They're kind of slow and stodgy. They've got some good players, though. Wisconsin should win, but I'm going to pick a little upset there. Elsewhere in the South, nothing really stands out to me. I'd love to see Boise State beat Colorado in the play-in game. And then they could give Florida some trouble. Florida lost one of their best players the other day to an injury.
Was it? It was a pretty bad injury.
I think it was. Boise State's, solid. But, the Mountain West has a lot to prove because every year they get not 6 teams like this year. They get 3 or 4, and all of them go home right away.
Mm-hmm.
The Aztecs, what they did last year was,
they did not go home.
No, they did not for a long, long time. But if you get 6 teams in like they did, and you go like 1-5 or 0-6, everybody's going to notice that.
Yeah.
So
it's like, why does that conference get all those teams when they're just first
and they couldn't
outs?
win a game? So it's important for the Mountain West to win some of these games. These are teams that I'm used to rooting against, but I'm going to have to root for them because it'll be beneficial for the Aztecs.
And let me tell everybody out there, that's not easy for Costello to do.
Got to root for Jalen House.
Yeah, that's not
Can't
easy.
stand that guy.
He's pretty annoying, you gotta say.
Yeah,
but he's very good.
He is good. He's good. And if he just plays instead of prances around, he's a lot better.
I watched him specifically and thought, how mad is Chris right now that he's like yelling at the crowd,
lighting it up.
He was lighting it up too, and then his dad was there. They kept showing his dad.
His dad was annoying as hell. In the Midwest, first round upsets, I see Oregon potentially over South Carolina, 11-6. That's about it.
That's it.
I don't have a lot of first round upsets this year.
I gotta say,
it's this, the old water finds its level.
Yeah.
I think this is the year maybe where teams that are supposed to win, because the last couple of years, it's been the exact opposite.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Like when I went through quickly and picked last night, I'm not an expert, but I didn't see many games that were like question marks, huge question marks.
Yeah, but that means that, there's going to be a bunch of upsets that nobody picks. I mean, a 15 has beaten a 2 seed 3 years in a row. Like that never used to happen ever. And now it's happened 3 straight years. Last year, a 16 beat a 1.
I was just going to say, like, that's the second time it's happened.
That's only the second
team.
That's only the second time that's ever happened. Purdue got knocked out by Fairleigh Dickinson.
Oh, no, it wasn't the same team. That was Virginia. Sorry.
One thing that's interesting for Purdue, because I don't love Purdue. Not a big fan of Zach Edey. I just think he's taller than everybody.
It's true.
Which is true. But Purdue's got some players. Here's the good news for Purdue. The other 16 to beat a 1 was 5 or 6 years ago. Remember Virginia? They were the 1 seed and they lost to Maryland, Baltimore County. UMBC, baby. Next year, the year after that, Virginia won the national title.
That is true.
So maybe Purdue can, get a little of that noise. That would be good for Purdue. But the 15 is going to beat the 2. I don't know. St. Peter's is back as a 15 seed. A couple years ago, they beat Kentucky.
I do remember that.
This year, they play Tennessee. Long Beach State going to play Arizona. Last year, Arizona lost as a 15 or as a 2.
Yeah, really
to
ruined
Princeton.
Me. Yes.
So, but I just don't. I'm not going to predict a bunch of upsets this year. It's time for these better teams to advance.
Anthony on the chat says, I don't know about that water finding its level metaphor anymore after hearing it every day on the show last year about the Padres.
Anthony, fair enough. Fair enough.
When water does indeed find its level again this year, we can start using it again.
Yeah, we'll start using it again. But now Anthony's right. I mean, we kept saying it because it just, was supposed to happen, but it didn't.
Well, again, I mean,
it didn't.
The Padres were doing things that were so unheard of that they broke gravity.
Broke gravity.
Or they broke physics. Water finding its level.
Yeah, it did not happen.
Okay, that was a bad joke. Everybody.
All right, so yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going.
Get your bracket picks in. Scraby and I don't know where we're gonna get Tony's picks, but I know he'll send them in from
he'll send them
South Korea. But we'll go over our Elite Eight, Final Four teams a little later in the week. We have a little time before we have to do all that.
I gotta say,
and I'm not a fan of just sitting here like we did last year and going, who you got in the Nebraska Texas A&M game?
We kind of learned from that mistake.
It's
kind
of boring. I mean, it really is. I mean, we sit here and we go, all right, that means you now have James Madison against Vermont. Who do you like there?
People in the car are like, what else is on?
Yeah, that's not good. So we're not going to go through the whole bracket, but I've had some fun with the bracket today.
Chris is like not joking when he says that this is the favorite thing he's done.
I love it. I love filling out the bracket. I love signing up for the bracket. The only thing I don't like about the bracket is when the games start.
And you lose the bracket.
And I lose the bracket and I tear it up by Friday afternoon.
That would
That's normally what happens. I normally give it one of those.
Like, can you imagine Chris going through an entire first round and not getting one wrong? Because I know it happens, but
somebody does it.
It's very rare.
Yeah, 32-0. Like somebody will do it.
You have to be the.
If you look at ESPN has over how many millions of people sign up every year,
and they never have a perfect one.
They never have a perfect bracket, but after one round, there's usually 5 or 6 people that are 32-0.
Yeah,
and you're like, what? How did you do that?
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
I mean, what are you kidding me?
Where did Iowa, the women's matchup? Where did they match up? Did you see that?
Yes, the Iowa. Yeah, we haven't talked about the women's bracket enough. Obviously, the Aztecs just missed it because they lost in the championship game of the Mountain West Conference. UNLV, which won the championship and had a record this year of 32-2, only draws a 10 seed in the West. So that's what they say about, they don't like, I don't know if it's the West. They don't do regional brackets in the women's. They name them after the cities.
Oh.
Anyway.
Why do they got to make it different? They have 4 quarters with the women's instead of 2 halves. It's just like,
just
why
say
can't
it's
we just make it uniform?
It's much easier if you say the West.
Well, yeah.
But UNLV will be a 10 seed. They're playing Creighton in the first round.
Iowa is the number 1.
Iowa is the number 1. The other number 1, South Carolina, which is undefeated.
Makes sense.
Also number 1, USC, number 1.
Okay.
Former Aztec coach Beth Burns is an assistant there.
Nice.
She and Juju Watkins get a number 1 seed, and Texas got the only other number 1 seed ahead of Stanford.
Wow.
Which most people thought would get the other number 1 seed, but
what happened
not.
to UConn?
They're in there. I think they're a 3. Let me see. I got to find them.
Who was it? There was a player on their team that got hurt last year who was like
Paige Beckers.
Yes.
She's back.
She's back
this year.
Is she really good or what?
She's great. But
I haven't really heard much about them this year.
UConn was, for them, they were down this year, but that still isn't too far down. Their record was 29-5. So they weren't bad. They're a 3 seed.
Wow. Come on, people.
Here's an interesting one for you, Scrabe, and then I'll get out of here and we'll check some traffic. The athletic director, don't know his name, athletic director at Nebraska, quit, left his job, got fired, found better place to go, whatever it was.
Okay.
Took the job at Texas A&M.
Uh-huh.
This weekend, Nebraska plays Texas A&M.
Oh, wow.
Not only in the men's tournament, but also in the first round of the women's tournament.
Oh, you got to win Nebraska.
How about that?
Because that guy left you.
Nebraska and Texas A&M, first round matchup in the men's, also first round matchup in the women's. That probably doesn't happen very often.
No, not. I would think not.
I would think not.
I'm not going to go down the math route. We already did that today. And I screwed it up for the 49ers, too.
You boxed it up badly.
Yes.
Only school that had a top 4 seed on the men's and women's side was
Texas?
UConn.
Okay.
Number 1 seed on the men's side, number 3 on the women's side. Enough little factoids for you?
Yes, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm not like, I don't hate it.
You're not bracket crazy like me.
It's just too many facts at
I
one
love
time
it.
for me.
I love it.
I love facts, but that's a lot of facts. I need facts throughout the week.
Yeah. All right. I'll spray some out for you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll come up with some other ones for you tomorrow.
I have on the other side, Chris, I have something about Petco Park that's going to make everybody very happy, I think.
All right. I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of one more thing on March Madness for the moment, tomorrow, 3:40, schedule it. Elijah Saunders of the Aztecs will be on the show.
Nice job, Chris.
So we'll have that on tomorrow.
Yes.
Right now, we'll check traffic.
From the
Can we stop with these brackets? It really does bother me.
You know, it's funny. ESPN and the sign-up thing. You can use up to 25 brackets. You know how many I fill out?
Too many.
One. That's all. Just one.
I thought you filled out more than that.
No, I don't. I fill out one bracket. I don't root for 20 different things to happen. I root for one thing to happen.
Makes sense.
That's why I like to play in one fantasy baseball league, but you won't allow that to happen this year. I have to play with you and your buddies.
They're your buddies too.
In the text chat.
Yeah, they're your buddies too.
I told you earlier, Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm last night had a whole thing about how frustrated he was that he got hooked into some sort of text chat and he couldn't get himself out.
I gotta say.
And I was thinking, oh, that sounds familiar.
I gotta say, that's pretty hilarious.
Sounds familiar. Padres, according to MLB Player Survey, best road trip in all of baseball.
Yeah, that's right.
San Diego, California. I don't know that we're telling anybody out there something they don't know. I mean, we believe that we have the finest city in America.
Yeah.
And so apparently do other baseball players. They love coming here.
And USA Today just named them the best baseball stadium in the country, too. So that's 2 number ones.
Wait, what?
USA Today last week named them the number 1 stadium in the country once again for baseball.
Named Petco Park?
Petco Park, yeah.
Really? The number 1 stadium in the country?
Yeah, that's what. Well, for baseball.
For baseball. Well, what else would it be for?
I don't know. If you're going to say number 1 stadium in the country,
it's not the number
Canyon
1
stadium is nice, you know.
If you're going to say number 1 stadium in the country for monster truck action.
I guess Petco would still fit that as well. That's a great view.
I like Petco Park.
Maybe who doesn't?
Well, maybe just because it's my home park, but I don't get the same. I guess that wouldn't happen.
I went to
I was going to say I get a lot more excitement out of going into Wrigley or Fenway or Yankee Stadium, but then again, that's not my home park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a bunch of Reds games, and those, when I lived there in 2010, those games are very stale. And the Reds had a really good team that year, so it wasn't like they weren't good, but it's very stale. Very stale.
Reds at Great American Ballpark?
Yeah,
or was that Riverfront Stadium? Because that was a
American.
cookie cutter.
No, it was
as
Great
they
American.
called it.
No, I had the whole riverboat thing in the center field. We also sat one time. This wasn't very smart by us, but we sat right in the sun, and it was like 90 degrees plus 100% humidity, and I was
nobody's
drinking.
ever mixed you up with being smart.
No,
so
wait,
you just keep on proving it.
I just don't drink in the sun, people. It's very dangerous.
Bad combination.
I had the worst headache for days after that.
Bad combination.
I'll never forget it. Never forget it.
Tony was on with us earlier. We did a Padres Pen Pals. We're going to play you some of that in the next segment. Give you an opportunity to, just getting ready for Padre baseball. That's
I'm
what
ready.
it's all about.
I'm already ready. Watching last night, seeing how cruddy those uniforms kind of look.
What? Oh, they're wearing them?
Yeah.
They're really wearing the new uniforms that nothing's been done about that?
Well,
that's unbelievable.
I don't know that nothing has been done. I think the Royals cracked the code because they were able to somehow get their old numbers on their uniforms, which made things a little bit better. But I got excited last night. When I saw Ha-Seong Kim hit that home run, I was like, yeah, baseball's back, baby.
Am I going to hate the uniforms? Like, I haven't seen them in action yet. I've just seen pictures of them, and I don't like them, but
you could just tell there's
going to really
not
annoy
much
me?
material there.
Oh, boy. I don't need to see that.
Like, they put a picture of Jurickson Profar shoes on
I really want to
Twitter.
watch a baseball game, not nudity.
It's no, the Padres don't have the see-through pants because they have sand pants as they did last night, I guess.
Well, they have white when they're at home.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
They're going to be home tomorrow night.
But they put a picture of Jurickson's shoe.
Not tomorrow night, but Wednesday morning. They're the home team in the opening game.
You think they're wearing pinstripe? They have to be, right? That's their
home uniform.
I guess it's Yu Darvish's choice.
I guess he could wear the white pants with the brown top. No, that's a road uniform. You're right.
Road uniform.
They have to wear the pinstripes. Yankee third baseman DJ LeMahieu will miss some time. Pretty significant bone bruise, says manager Aaron Boone. Superstar slugger Aaron Judge is expected to return to the lineup tomorrow. The Yankees could certainly use some good news. Going to be without Garrett Cole, 10 to 12 weeks?
Yeah.
Whew,
which
boy.
They don't even like. That's an estimate.
Minnesota Twins will open their AL Central title defense without their closer, Johan Duran.
What happened?
He has a moderate oblique strain, Scrape. I know you love oblique strain injuries. Not your favorite.
Over the weekend, someone told me they hurt their oblique, and I started laughing.
Yeah, that's nice.
I was just like,
I'm going to go injure your oblique and see how you feel about it.
I told you one time I did injure my oblique, and it was really painful. But if I was
Should
making
be.
$35 million a year, I might be able to go out there.
Anthony DeSclafani, the Twins, also will miss the beginning of the season. Trevor Bauer's in the news today. Says he's going to pitch for the Mexican team, Diablos Rojos.
Oh, there you go.
Sunday, when they face the New York Yankees.
Wow.
Bauer still attempting to return to Major League Baseball.
Wait, is he just like going from team to team?
I don't know what he's
playing?
doing. He's just trying to show up as often as he can.
Because he was with the Asian Breeze last week playing against the Dodgers. Now he's with the Diablo Rojo. So he's just going from team to team at this point, which I will give him this, Chris. He is trying really hard. And if there's ever anything down the road where there's a lawsuit, he'll be like, I tried very hard to get on a team and no one let me.
Hope they don't. Garrett Crochet. You know who that is?
Garrett Crochet.
Yeah, I didn't know who that was
Crochet?
either. It's spelled like crochet, but I don't think it's pronounced that way.
Okay, who's that?
Crochet is going to make the opening day start this year for the Chicago White Sox. It'll be his first career start. White Sox Tigers, March 28th. Crochet said, I'm very shocked, to say the least. White Sox did not have any obvious candidates for opening day because they traded some guy named Dylan Cease to the Padres.
Okay, so we heard Tony's story about Steven Wilson, how he saw him literally right after Steven Wilson was notified.
Right.
And then Tony talked about this is a good closer opportunity for Steven Wilson.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease is very happy. Steven Wilson probably isn't as happy just because he's going to be on a rough team this year.
Yeah. They have Tim Hill. Can look up his old friend Tim Hill on that White Sox roster.
I forgot about that. And is Mike Clevenger still on the roster?
No, he's a free agent.
Oh, so he's
but there's some talk of the White Sox bringing him back, but not yet.
Oh, by the way, Sammy Lev just texted me.
What's he got?
It is Crochet.
Oh, thank you, Sammy Lev.
Yeah, thank you, Sammy
Crochet.
Lev.
All right.
That's it.
Cincinnati Reds lost center fielder TJ Friedel indefinitely. Broken wrist. No good.
No good is right.
Will Benson. Stuart Fairchild will probably platoon in place of the injured Friedel for the foreseeable future. Reds, getting excited. Your friends in Cincinnati getting excited.
But every year.
But they're getting nothing but bad news.
I think those Reds are going to be real good this year.
They lost, Noelve Marte, the third baseman.
Oh,
suspension.
Yes, they did.
Now they lose their center fielder, TJ Friedel. Braves all-star pitcher Bryce Elder. That's how good the Braves are. They sent him to the minors today because they're going to open the season with Reynaldo Lopez as their fifth starter. Lopez signed a 3-year, $30 million deal in November. So Elder, who was in the All-Star game last year, sent back to the minor leagues. Kidding me? I mean that's how good the Braves are.
There's got to be strategy to that.
By the way, well, the strategy is they have 5 guys that are better than him.
Okay.
They have Strider, they have Charlie Morton, they have Max Fried,
oh, dang it.
and they have one more guy who's really good. And, I can't name the whole Braves rotation off the top of my head.
John Smoltz?
John Smoltz and Greg Maddux, yes.
They're penciling in?
Penciling those guys in.
All right, we got to go to break.
Why?
Because we have to go to break.
I'm giving Chris Sale was the other guy in the Braves rotation.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they got a good team.
He'll play a good 3 games this year.
The Braves, by the way, we were talking about the Yankees, too high at number 7 in the power rankings. Braves are number 1 in the MLB.com power rankings.
They really only have gotten better.
Seems that way.
Yes.
All right, we'll take a timeout, come back. Padre talk with Tony Gwynn earlier today from South Korea. You'll get the latest. Stick around. All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris, 5:39 the time. In Korea, South Korea, Seoul, South Korea, 9:39 in the morning. Tony Gwynn Jr. was on with us earlier from South Korea. Spent an hour with us, and we did some Padres Pen Pals. Going to give you a chance to listen to some of that so you Padre fans will be up to date. As far as some questions we asked Tony, Dylan Cease, very happy with that deal. Tommy Pham
says
would like it, but Tommy's not there yet.
Yep.
Said that he does believe there's been some talks, maybe even an offer, but nothing concrete yet with Tommy Pham. The other thing he said is if he had to guess, starter at third base in the opening game Wednesday morning, he picked Graham Pauley.
He did.
Although Tyler Wade, Eggy Rosario, could be any of those guys.
Could be.
We'll see. I think the rest of the starting lineup is pretty much settled.
Jackson Merrill's the starting center fielder.
Yeah. Profar will be in left. Tatis in right. Jake.
First
Bogarts,
base.
second base.
Hey, did you see that John Morosi, he actually had some very complimentary things to say about Xander Bogaerts at second base on Twitter. He said, got to go back to the top.
I have no doubt that
he
Bogaerts
said Xander
will play.
Bogaerts has put on a defensive clinic at second base over the past 2 days. Range, hands, arm, everything.
Awesome.
Well, I think that is awesome because
I have no doubt that he can play there. He's a pretty good athlete.
Yeah, but
right?
it would
He's
be
a shortstop.
it would be like, Chris, hey, by the way, you're now going to be the board op on the show as well as the host.
Not the same.
It's the same.
By the way, Jay Cronenworth, former shortstop. Xander Bogaerts, former shortstop. Manny Machado, when he gets the third, former shortstop. Jurickson Profar, former shortstop. Jackson Merrill, former shortstop. Fernando Tatis Jr.,
former shortstop.
You got the idea.
Luis Campisano,
not a former shortstop.
Catcher.
Not a former shortstop. One quick Dodger note, so I know you like to keep an eye on them. Gavin Stone today was named the fifth starter for the Dodgers. Stone posted a 0.93 ERA this spring. Dodgers starting rotation will look this way once the season starts. Tyler Glasnow, Yoshi Yamamoto, Bobby Miller, James Paxton, and now Gavin Stone.
Shaking in my boots.
There you go. Yeah, Stone, by the way, was their top pitching prospect entering last season, but he struggled a little bit at the big league level, tipping his pitches, etc., etc. All right, traffic, and then Tony with us earlier.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Still a couple of problem spots here. One of them is this collision, the clearing stage from the Rosecrans Street on-ramp to eastbound 8, and we still have this crash on the Siempre Viva on-ramp to westbound 905. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's time to ask the experts, Padres fans.
I was hoping maybe you can bring a little insight into it.
Write us, tweet us, Facebook us.
The Padres Pen Pals want to remind everybody. That if you love Mediterranean food like I love Mediterranean food, Spiro's, authentic Mediterranean cuisine, Coronado, La Jolla, for dining, takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com.
All right, let's get some Padres Pen Pals underway. Now that we have a couple games to talk about over there in Korea, people have lots of questions, and we're going to start it with a Ha-Sung Kim question. I think that's actually very fair with him hitting 2 home runs last night. But here we go. Okay, so I was not happy when everyone was talking about trading Ha-Sung Kim about a month or two. He's the heart and soul of this team. The more he plays with his current contract, the more the price goes up for the future. I've been asking this question for a while now, but if you have the money to extend Jake Cronenworth, Chris, shouldn't you have the money to extend Ha-Sung Kim?
Well, you might. My thing is, if you don't have to extend, I don't know that you extend
Ha-Sung Kim.
Well, I want to make sure that last year was the real Ha-Sung Kim. And I think that's what the Padres want to make sure, as long as they have the opportunity to do so. You know, the previous couple of years were less than stellar. Last year was terrific. You know, so let's see. Can he build upon that? You know, I mean, Ha-Sung is I love this guy when he's playing well. I don't love him on the bases yet, but I think he's probably going to tone that down a little bit this year, be a little bit more responsible. But what 17 bombs? I mean, can he hit 20? Is that, or 17 high wide? Let's see where he's at. So
right.
I think that's why they haven't done it yet, because they don't have to.
Tony, let me go back to the question just to make sure I'm asking it correctly. If you have enough money to extend Jake Cronenworth, shouldn't you have the money to extend Ha-Sung Kim?
Not necessarily. I mean, you extended Jake Cronenworth a year ago. Finances looked a lot different a year ago. And we know the constraints that the team is under this season. I think Chris is right. I think the Padres haven't extended him yet because they don't have to extend him yet. What's Ha-Sung gonna what's his asking price? What is he gonna want? I mean, this is not just contingent on the Padres wanting to re-sign Ha-Sung Kim. This is also contingent on Ha-Sung wanting to re-sign with the Padres. So I think ultimately this is one of those deals where you let the season play out and you go from there. I think the Padres will have no problem extending him if they can, should he put up another year that he did last year.
All right. Thank you for that question. Our next question is about Tommy Pham, and it's also about Trevor Bauer. So here we go. The news of the Padres being interested in Tommy Pham had me pretty excited over the weekend. He was a good player last year and got to play in a World Series. I know some fans are not a fan of Pham, but why is he any worse than signing Trevor Bauer? I don't understand how some fans can say they want Trevor Bauer instead of Pham. To me, it's not even close. So, Tony, the question is, why would Pham be any worse than signing Trevor Bauer?
First of all, I don't know that Tommy Pham is in that same category. And listen, I think it's important to note that neither of them did anything that caused that broke a law or anything on that matter. Now, maybe is it a moral question that is that what?
Yeah,
I think that's
so.
what the way to phrase it.
Yeah.
And if we're comparing the two on that standpoint, I think one exceeds the other by a long shot. That being said, I think it's a fair point. Like, if you think the Padres should go out and try and sign Trevor Bauer, you certainly can't then say, "Oh no, what Tommy did at a strip club or what happened to him at a strip club is far worse." No, I don't think so. I think there is far more perceived baggage that comes with Trevor than there is with Tommy. So I don't think that's a good argument at all.
Who was this? Brutus fan on the chat says, just don't play fantasy sports with him and you'll be fine. Chris?
Well, no, it's not just don't play fantasy sports. Don't play with that man's money. That's what it is. And have
the crux.
That's the crux.
Do not bet him $10 on a game of ping pong either. I would think he's gonna be competitive.
All right, Chris, what do you think about this? Why would it be any worse signing Tommy Pham than Trevor Bauer?
I would answer the question the exact same way that Tony did. I think it was perfectly answered. The one thing I would say is that if you sign Tommy Pham, maybe a third of the people are going to hate that. If you sign Trevor Bauer, I think 100% of the people are going to hate that.
No, that's not true.
90.
I would say 75.
Higher.
I would say 75.
Well, either way, 75% versus 33%, that's a big jump.
It is a big difference.
Yeah.
So, Chris, what he was going for works there, except for
what's
75.
that?
You were trying to say that less people are going to be mad about Tommy Pham.
I think everybody's going to hate the signing of Trevor Bauer. I disagree with your 75% insinuation.
Insinuation, he says. Tony, we need you back to play cop. Chris and I actually have been getting along. We had an impromptu show because the prospect game got rained out last Friday, and we were expecting to do 2 hours, and we did 4. And it went well. We spent about an hour
2.5 hours of the
conspiracy
show
theories.
on conspiracy theories, Tony. You would have loved it.
We really
Oh, so
did.
you made Scraby happy for 2 hours. That's great.
He was so in his element. That was our countdown. Our countdown Friday was top all-time conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Scraby couldn't narrow it down to 5, so he had to talk about 15 or 20 of
We
them.
kept getting to like the end of the break, be like, we have to keep going. We're not done with
we just
our
kept
list
going.
yet.
It was fabulous.
All right. So that one's answered. Thank you for the question. There's 2 more. I'm so pumped up about Dylan Cease being a Padre this year. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I don't even care what his ERA was last year. He was on one of the worst teams in baseball. I'm so confident in Dylan Cease being an ace. I went out and put $500 on Dylan Cease to win Cy Young at plus 2,500 for a total payout of $13,000. Don't tell my wife because I'm planning on taking this to the grave if I lose and hiding this money from her if I win. So, Chris?
No. I wouldn't risk 500. That's a lot.
Chris's new
All right, 500
is
sorry.
Is hun.
Yeah.
Hun.
I wouldn't go
Hun.
Well, here's the thing. I couldn't find 500 without my wife not knowing.
Just save up your coins.
Not possible. So the most I could probably most I could probably bet without my wife even knowing would be about 50. And she knows I don't gamble, but I think it's a tremendous bet. 13 grand. That's a nice payout.
That's
and
a very
Dylan
good
Cease
payout.
is a guy who finished second in the Cy Young balloting. So it's at least capable of happening. So no, I don't think it's a bad bet.
Tony, do you think this is a bad bet? Someone betting $500 on Dylan Cease to win the Cy Young.
No, I don't think it's a bad bet. I think it's a good bet. As I said, this dude was in a Cy Young race not too long ago. Put it this way, this guy, Chris brought up the swing and miss statistics. This guy went from, I think, in the low 100s on people swinging and missing at that slider to like, I think last year it was like 220, which is still phenomenal. Guys hitting 220 on the slider. And that was considered like a bad draw. He looked good last night, I can tell you that.
He also said he pitched last year 30% to his potential. So that's 30.
Cheers, Tony, in case you're wondering.
I think what happened with that, Chris, you got a little perturbed because we were trying to talk analytics and someone said we don't.
Some guy in the chat wrote, Chris and Scraby don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I said, you know what? We don't claim to know everything about analytics, so calm down.
Yes. All right.
So I was livid.
Final one. This is from Taylor.
You know, the crazy thing is the analytics, and people are going to be mad at me for saying this. Analytics are really a way for, the nerds to be able to keep track of everything.
I wish I had said the same thing on Friday. Darn it.
I won't lie that I got a little angry when that person called us idiots, and so I said that there are a bunch of imaginary numbers.
That's hilarious. And obviously, I just want to make you kind of clean that up a little. Obviously, analytics are useful. They're not, but when people get on their high horse about them, that's when it gets annoying.
Yes. All right. Last one from Taylor. And I saw this they put up a poll on X earlier today. Big Padre fan, big listener. Needs some serious help here. What jersey do I get? And the 3 choices are Grant Pauly, Dylan Cease, Luis Campusano. I voted for Dylan Cease. So he's actually listening for our answers. Tony, who would you choose? Pauly, Cease, or Campusano?
Pauly, who or Campusano?
Cease or Campusano?
Oh, I probably would get a Cease. No, I get Campusano. It depends. If you're okay with risking the fact that a player might not be here long, I would say Campusano.
Yeah.
If you're not worried about it, I would say Cease.
Exactly my thoughts. Chris, who would you choose here?
I can't get a Cease jersey because I can't run around with number 84 on my back. I know that works for him. Doesn't work for me. So I'm going to go Campusano. Paulie, I still got to see more.
All right.
Campusano, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a legit catcher for the Padres for, a handful of years. So that's the one I'd go with.
Okay, that is it for Padres Pen Pals. Thank you to everyone who submitted.
Close. We'll catch up with Tony tomorrow, potentially. We don't know yet. You'll have to join the show to find out.
Yeah.
One thing I do know tomorrow at 3:40 tomorrow afternoon, Elijah Saunders from the Aztecs will be on the show.
Good job, Chris.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to talking about this game against UAB. Friday, 10:45. Of course, before that, Padres will have played 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, 3:05 a.m. Thursday, 3:05 a.m. Scraby and I will be at the viewing party on Wednesday. Is there another viewing party Thursday?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure. I think Thursday is going to be a tough day for everyone.
Yes, with the NCAA tournament starting on Thursday as well.
And just being tired. And
we're going to be tired. Coming up next, it's the Scraby Chronicles.
That's right, baby.
All right, Scraby's got a daily gripe somewhere in there.
Oh, yes. Did you hear mine from the other day?
No.
My gripe was out of pure jealousy. It's when guys run and exercise with their shirts off.
Oh, yeah.
It's really annoying to me.
That's pretty annoying.
But I'm also jealous, so.
Yeah, we all are jealous.
That's
yeah.
right. I saw some guy running today, and I was like, put your shirt on! He's like, who is that?
If you could run with your shirt off, would you?
No.
Really?
I have never been able to. All right, we got to get going.
All right, you're next. See you tomorrow.